Peace. Had to stop in early to let y'all know that if you're in the New York area on Saturday, August 30th, you should pull up to Real Talk number 9 with me and very special guest, Navy Blue. Yes, Sage Alcessor, aka Navy fucking Blue, at Loudmouth in Brooklyn. Sage and I recorded what remains one of the most popular Real Notes episodes ever across DSPs, YouTube, whatever. Like, I still get comments on it from people finding it all these months and years later. So it felt right to bring him out for a movie night. We'll be watching his favorite film, the 1999 animated sci-fi movie The Iron Giant, and then after, y'all know the drill, an interview and a Q&A revolving around the film and his latest album, Memoirs in Armor. Doors are at 6, and the movie's going to start around 7 o'clock that night. Tickets are $15 and available through the event app Posh, which you can find the link to in the description below from wherever you're listening. It's going to be a crazy time. Tickets are already moving. And y'all got, from this time of recording, about a month. That depends on when you're listening to this, obviously. So don't sleep on grabbing one, and please come and close the summer out with Navy Blue the Truest, man. Like, you don't want to miss this one. I swear. If you're around, I hope to see you there. Now, just enjoy this week's episode of The Usual. Peace. Peace. My name is Dylan Cinemasai Green, and welcome to the Real Notes podcast. I speak with rappers, producers, journalists, and other hip-hop adjacent figures about their relationship with movies, and, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New Jersey-born rapper, producer, director, and humanitarian GDP. We spoke about Clive Barker's Nightbreed, the magic of independent movie theaters, Solaris, Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest, kids, coming up as a rapper and skater in New Jersey, navigating the blog era, looking back on his old music, reflecting on his decade-long break, co-directing a documentary about rapper Tame One, and the creative process behind he and Fatboi Sharif's EP, Endocrine, out now via Fused Arrow Records. Come fuck with us. So you said you just moved, but you're like right, and you said you're right next to the Q train.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask exactly where you're at because I don't want to put your shit on.
It's okay, bro. I'm not like the Beatles or anything. I'm not like worried about people outside the crib. But I live really close to Prospect Park now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, especially like, dude, in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Usually it's just like you're lucky if you get like a tree or two outside. And I'm like, dude, a short walk, and I'm just like, yo, trees, natural beauty, place to clear your head. Like, I lived in New York the majority of my adult life and like have not had that. So no complaints there.
Yeah, no, and you're like right in the dog days of summer, like the leaves are still green, like the trees are like trees and plant life are everywhere. And like Prospect Park's huge. I don't know, like it like I can imagine that's a huge, not even confidence booster, but just like a mood booster, just like being around parks and shit.
Such a mood booster. Like, this is, I would argue, like the finest park in town. Designed by the same cat who did Central Park, but this was apparently his favorite. And frankly, like, yeah, I would agree. It's got so many little like cutty like offshoots. There's waterfalls, there's fucking botanical gardens, and like so many little like sneaky pathways. I still ride a skateboard, so there's like a couple of skate spots, one of which quite close to the house. So it's like always bumping into friends there. It's like,
yeah,
I'm all right, man. No complaints.
That's everything. Yeah, no, I've never seen the waterfalls over there, but I've heard stories.
Dude, come through. I had do you know the cat who does rap music plug podcast?
Oh yeah, Rohan. Yeah,
Rohan.
That's the
homie. We were like internet friends, but then he was in town last week for those shows or whatever, and we were like trying to get together, and he was like, oh, like, you know, any suggestions? I was like, honestly, dude, like, go to Prospect Park. He's like, should I go to the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, which are like kind of like right above it? I think I might actually be part of Prospect Park. I'm not sure. Someone's probably listening like, you idiot, like it's actually, but I was like, dude, if you're not going to Bronx Botanical Gardens, just go to Prospect Park. Like, I'll meet you there. And he did like a little, I saw his Instagram story, and he was like, my new favorite park in New York.
Yeah. Like, cool. Okay, so that was your response. Yeah. Because I saw that video go out too.
Dude, I feel like I kind of helped set that up. I was like, go to Prospect. He was like, great recommendation. I met him over there and so what's up.
No, that's funny. Yeah, no, I was with him a bunch last week too. Shout out to Rohan if he's listening.
Dude, Rohan, yeah, no, 300 places last week, I feel like.
Yeah, he really made the most of his trip. He hasn't
And
been. Yeah,
that's what New York's good for. Some people
yeah.
like end up getting a little like overwhelmed by it, or just like staying at the Airbnb, depending how you travel. But New York is nice to like juggle around town if you're up for it.
hmm Yeah, it's really its own little world. Like in a way that other like pretty much every other or well like there's other places around the world and even just like outside of New York that are like also their own little worlds, but like New York is New York, like
Facts.
it's still somehow some way still the center of the universe
Dude, yeah,
after all these years.
for
Everybody
sure.
wants to be here.
It's why I come crawling back, hat in hand. I try to get out of town, and I'm like, I kind of miss also like being from Jersey. It's just like
Yeah.
an easy transition, right? Like I've been coming here since I was 12 years old, so it's just like me being in this town. Like this is like it's my city, it's my town. So it's running into people I've known from different things and interests and
hmm
parts of my life. You bump into all the time. You go. It's just like you know,
Yeah, it's really like it's surreal, but it's also super fun. Like yeah, just like so many different people from so many different walks of life, like people I've known since I was in like elementary school, and then people that I met like 2 weeks ago, all just like
mm-hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, this person knows that person, and yeah, like that's that New York New Jersey relationship is something that is special. There's something
It's
special
cool,
about it.
man. Yeah, it pays
Yeah,
off in dividends, right? And like no matter like, where I go, like I'm not going to have that built-in history. I can't set the clocks back. Like I'm not gonna know anyone in any city as well as I know people in fucking New York. It's just
right.
what's done is done.
Yeah, no, we're stuck for life, bro.
I
Um,
I don't know. With all that's going on, frankly, I've been considering other options. I don't really need to get too much into that, but I'm like, if not here, where? I feel like again, like
yeah,
I'm an artist or whatever, like this is a place that allows me to kind of make it happen. And you don't really have to grow up here. And it's like, okay, people like way older than me are still like, getting new tattoos and like starting new bands and like
yeah,
not that that's like the barometer for where you should live or where you should spend your time, but you know what I'm saying, it's like this is a place that like allows you to just kind of like do what you want and not feel the pressures maybe in like other places, other communities that are sort of like a more standard fare, if you will.
yeah. Everyone's mileage will vary just based on where life is taking them. But yeah, like there's so few places that foster creativity, and I'm not always a huge fan of this particular buzzword, but like community the way that New York does.
It's
It's just like an inherent like
totally.
cultural it's weird. Like but yeah, like it's I get it. I feel you. There's definitely been some like if I were to leave the tri-state, like where do I go? And I don't really have an answer yet. Maybe I won't need to, but it's you got to think about it sometimes considering all the bullshit.
Totally, and I think finances have a lot to do with that. You know what I mean? Like if you got money coming to you one way or the other, maybe you have to be here, maybe you don't have to be here, maybe you can afford to be a multiple homeowner. I haven't quite sorted that out yet. We'll see. But yeah, no, I have made the pillage to LA actually twice. Once more like seriously, and while I love California, yeah, I was kind of happy to make my way back here. It just you know it's
Yeah.
it's home for better or for worse, and it's changed and it's fucking expensive and like all these like corny rich kids taking over wherever you go, right? Like New York is like not like a fucking Patti Smith book anymore, or like
Nah,
this. Like
man.
I can just show up with like my hat in my hand and like become a this or that. It's like it's a little more complicated than that now, but you know. You can always find a rich person to mooch off of. There'll
Yeah.
always be that.
Yeah, no, even if it's just drinks for a night, yeah, that's real.
Or just run out on the tab, or like there's
Yeah.
some model kid that isn't at their apartment too much, and you can just ride the couch for a while. I'm getting a little old for that sort of thing, but for our younger listeners, it's like you can find it. There's someone with a trust fund that'll let you post up and
Right.
try to make your dreams come true or something.
Always, man. 9 million people in this fucking city, you know?
Mm-hmm. Ultimately,
Shit. Well, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. Another beautiful fucking cold open on a weirdly cold August afternoon. It's like 69 degrees out. It feels weird. I just cut my AC off. It feels weird to say that near the end of August. But my name's Dylan Green, Cinema Sci. I got a lot of names, do a lot of shit outside, inside, all sides. And I'm with somebody today who it made me really happy. Like, I mean, like we're gonna talk about this a bunch more later, but like when I heard that this man had new music out for the first time in at least a decade, I think. Right? It's been a little minute, bro. Right?
give or take like a loose track here and there, which like someone like asked me to get on something or this and that. I mean, new music as GDP, yeah, the official
Yeah.
release or whatever. It had been a decade.
Yeah, man. It's like it made me like I was excited not just because we got more GDP, but like GDP with Sharif on Steel Tip Dove's label, like at this really kind of like crucial time for a lot of people in this space that we've occupied. Um, some of you might know him as Matt. Some of you might know him as George Douglas Peterson, but everybody else knows him as GDP. So please welcome GDP to the place to be and shit.
What a warm introduction, Dylan. Thank you. Thank
Hey
you
man,
so much.
nah man. Thank you. I'm yeah. Like this is one I've wanted to do for a while, but like once Endocrine, which go listen to Endocrine if you haven't heard Endocrine yet. It's fucking great. Once that
Quick,
happened,
quick, quick.
yeah, like
In and out. 20 minutes, peace.
something like that.
Say it's
But
like
yeah, like yeah, just going back and like just like digging back through the catalog and like seeing the growth and picking up on the stuff that I didn't notice that once again we'll get into a little bit later. I'm just like it's like yesterday I found this interview you did for A3C like 13 years ago, and I
whoa.
was just like watching you talk about like being involved in the blog era and like talking about being on the tape and shit, and I'm just like wow, like this is really like it doesn't feel like it's been it doesn't feel like it's been 15 years since all of this stuff started. Like to me at least.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that interview. They like it was me and it was like some like ASAP kid. They like double booked us, so I like waited, like just set us up in a recording studio that we like weren't recording at. And they just like did the interviews. I hope I didn't say anything too stupid. I don't remember. I remember the interview. I don't remember a single thing we talked about, but I do remember that time. I
Hmm.
do remember that time in music. It was, yeah, it's interesting. It feels like it was like so in limbo, right? Like it was just kind of like physical sales weren't really a thing. Streaming hadn't exactly like skyrocketed. Like Spotify was around. Apple Music was kind of on the cusp of like, are we going to sell people music or are we going to stream people music?
Hmm.
And yeah, like people were like kind of actually going to websites. Print media was kind of on its way out. But there were still more magazines, I guess, than there are now. But yeah, people were downloading music from blogs. And that sounds like an ancient like concept at this point. But like, yeah, that's kind of like what it were. Huh.
Yeah, man. Just like I forget where I heard this, but somebody mentioned in a review I read a while ago that just like so much of this history is just told in like dead media fire links.
Mm-hmm.
And like part of
Yeah.
my heart just like crumbled off. I
dot,
was like,
dot
damn.
blogspot.com and
Yeah.
like dude like I'll have my days, it's like plug a hard drive in and just like get lost in that, and there definitely are still, yeah, Mediafire, and I'm trying to remember some of the others, but it's like there are still some blogs up with just like incredible, you can get lost on Tumblr still. It's like some of that old
Yeah.
shit is like great music, great photos, great just like if you're working on a project, great inspo. Yeah, .blogspot.com, dude. When I was younger, it was, I don't know if you remember GeoCities and like .cjb.net. That was like
Oh yeah.
photo, like make your own website. Uh crap.
Yeah, no, like that and Blogger too.
Hmm.
Shout out to Shout out to Mark Volition from fucking Beat Lampers. He fucking helped me get like that was like my first website ever, was just like a blogger that he helped me put together, and I
That's so
like
dope.
posted shit on. Yeah, like that was the
So
time, bro.
sick.
That was a time.
Shout
But
out Beat
I'm
Lampers. Shout out Volition. I didn't know he was a webmaster like that.
something like, yeah, no, yeah, no, he knows, he knows a lot about a lot. I don't think I've ever met anybody who's as passionate about Smash Bros as he is. Like
That's sick. Yeah.
he's one of the best players I've ever seen. So
He gives like a tech savvy sort of thing. I'm like, here's a guy who like, I might call if I'm having some computer troubles for sure. I see that.
but I mean, just like, once again, congrats on the new project. Like, welcome back in like this capacity. But before we get into music stuff, I want to talk to you about movies and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what was first question I ask everybody who comes on here: what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Yo, it's a good time actually. I go through like these phases where it's like I'll be like movie a night or like half a movie a night for a while, and then like I won't watch anything for a while. I don't really know why, but it's just kind of I guess how I go. So it's been kind of like a media filled past few weeks. I just finished Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Have you ever
Oh
seen
shit!
that?
I was just thinking about Nightbreed.
So
That's
it's
crazy.
like the weather's been kind of cool lately, and I'm seeing like at like I don't know the drugstores. There's like Halloween shit out. I'm like like we should catch up on some Cronenberg films. Like it's about that
Hmm.
time. And I had like kind of forgotten Nightbreed. My girl had never seen it. I'm like we should watch this, and I forgot how long it was, and like how much money they spent on that movie. It's just like the last like 20 minutes is just like explosions. But dude, incredible costume design,
Yeah.
incredible monsters. The plot is neither here nor there. And then I kind of started thinking about it. I'm like, kind of all this dude's movies are like, not all of his movies, but some of his more popular ones. It's like, with respect, like Hellraiser is just kind of about the costume design.
Yeah.
Like,
Big time.
there's no real plot there to be had, right? The Hellraiser is like
Mhm.
whatever, or like Candyman was sick, but whatever. So, but I'll throw some shade quick too. Big fan of the Alien franchise, and
Mhm.
I went back to go check out whatever Alien Earth is like the new Hulu series,
Right.
and they got like 8 minutes out of me, and I was just like, "Fuck
Damn.
this."
Oh,
Maybe is it? Have you watched it?
not yet. It's been on my list because I also fuck with Alien,
I'm a
but
big fan of the franchise. I thought,
yeah,
what was the last one? Romulus, right?
yeah.
It was the dude like awesome. The ones before the Covenant, all these little like prequels they've been doing, like
Hmm.
I think they've been nailing it for the past 15 years or so. And then I was like, cool. Like, I think Ridley Scott, actually, like the OG, like Alien 1 director, writer, whatever, is
Yeah.
working on the show. And I'm like, all right, it's on Hulu. Like, they're kind of like some corner cutters. Let's see. And I was just like, I don't have time for this, bro.
Damn.
Sorry to people at home watching. Maybe I should give it a little more time. I was just within like 10 minutes. I was like, let's just watch a movie.
Wow. And
Um,
what movie did you just did you decide to watch Nightbreed instead?
yeah, I think I ended up on Nightbreed somehow. But what I will say is I live near BAM Cinema now as well, which is like if you don't live in New York, just
Shout
like
out.
a freaking gem. They just show like all sorts of films, new, old, you name it, and they'll have like these kind of almost like Criterion, like directors celebratory, like week long, like they'll screen all their films in like 35 mil or whatever. So I went the other day to see Andre. It's Andre, right? Not Andre. Andre Tarkovsky's Solaris.
Oh yeah, shit. How was that?
Awesome. Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's a classic. I love
It's
Solaris.
long. It's definitely
Yeah.
long, but like it was awesome. So let's go with that answer. Solaris, which I guess was like his response to Space Odyssey. He was like, I can weave a love story into this sci-fi world, which I think he did a good job of. They could have for sure shaved 30 minutes off, but I feel like that about a lot of films. And like
Hmm.
it's fine. It was great. It was great to see in a theater, the whole experience. Some great acting. Really,
Man.
small cast, great acting. Shout out Bam.
Had you ever seen it before?
Like piecemeal, like in the background, like maybe had a couple drinks. That and what's his other big shit, like Stalker, like
Hmm.
same sort of thing. I feel like those films and a lot of older films. I think really benefit from like the cinematic experience. Like if you're at home with a phone in front of you, flipping through Criterion Channel, like let's be real, like it just doesn't hit the same.
Right.
This is like the whole surround sound theater experience. You're locked in, like you can really appreciate the subtleties and the pacing of films that weren't necessarily made to be like box office bangers, which is kind of what we've got at this point, right? In like theatrical releases.
Yeah. Cause like I felt that way about I watched Cure for the first time
Mm.
earlier this year because I screened it with Woods at one of the movie nights I
I meant to
do.
go to that.
And
I remember like the day after, I was like, "Fuck, that was yesterday, huh?"
well, if you're around, I'm doing one with Navy Blue next Saturday
I
on
saw that.
August 30th. Come
Dude, shout
through,
out
y'all.
Sage. Dude,
Yeah.
I worked with that dude when he was so young. I bet he doesn't remember, but I used to do a lot of producing. And then Converse was a big client of ours. It was right when they introduced the skate program, and Sage was like,
Mm,
dude, he was like a puppy. And kind of just gotten on Converse, but dude, super cool, super nice dude. And really interesting to see him. Yeah, like I think of him as like a pro skater, and now he's
word.
like freaking multifaceted. Like I see him on like Calvin Klein billboards. He's making songs with Earl Sweatshirt. Like go off.
Yeah.
Good genes in the
Yeah.
Elsesser household. Paloma's like the
Truly.
biggest model. His younger sister's a model. I forget her name, but I worked with her on some Converse shit. Like yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna try to make it the 30th.
30th. Yeah, next
Okay,
Saturday.
sick.
But yeah, no. Shout out to the Elsessers. Like their whole, like they're all royalty. Sage is a sweetheart. I've known him for like 3-4 years. He was really good to just be like, yeah, like I mean, let's watch the Iron Giant. But
That's so
but yeah, like
cool.
if people are listening, come through. Should be fun. But what was I saying before? Oh yeah, so or no, I forget what I was saying before, but I wanted to I wanted to agree with you about movies like that being the best things to watch on like a. Oh yeah, I was talking about Cure, right? Because
Mhm.
like I watched Cure, and then I watched it by myself on the Criterion Channel, funny enough, and then we watched it at the thing, and even just like being around people, not in like a movie theater specifically, but like watching it on a bigger screen with like
Mhm.
bigger sound, it just felt better. And Solaris is like I've never seen it on a big screen. I really enjoy it, but I know that if I watched it like at a place like BAM or like I hit up Metrograph a lot. I'm a big Metrograph fan. So like stuff like that,
Mhm.
it's just like you said, like most of those movies really lend themselves to being experienced on like the biggest screen and with the biggest sound possible
Totally.
because it's
And
like
and and it's just like no distractions. You can talk all day
yeah,
about, my phone, put my phone away, but it's like, nah, bro. You're checking your text if you're watching a movie in the living
yeah,
room, and it's like just be in a theater where you can't. And we were praising New York before. It's like fortunately, like there are some great theaters out here with some really thoughtful programming. Um,
yeah.
like always.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like I take it for granted because I saw Highest to Lowest, the new Spike Lee joint,
Hmm.
last week, and it's on. Well, I mean, like, there's been a lot of conversation about the fact that it's gotten like no promo and it's only in theaters for 2 weeks, which is crazy considering that it's like Spike and Denzel. Like, you would think that they'd be like, go see
Hmm.
Spike and Denzel, but
Right, right.
like, but like, it's not because like I was in the city anyway, and I wanted to go. It's not playing at like the AMC's in Jersey, so I couldn't just like go to the mall or go to Clifton Commons and just go
Right.
catch it there. It was like you have to go see it at like I went to the Draft House. I went to Alamo Draft House and
Cool.
saw
That's
it
all sick too.
on. Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, especially now that they figured out all that strike business and are paying people what they deserve. Good on them for doing the right thing. Shout out to
Uh-huh.
unions.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to unions. um,
Yeah, they got some pretty
but
good food there, if I recall too.
what happened?
I think they got some good food there too,
Oh yeah.
if I recall.
Man, I don't know. I don't know, but I didn't love Highest to Lowest, but just having the ability to see it and like leaving, I was just like, damn, if I wasn't in the city, I wouldn't be able. It'll be on streaming, but once again, it's like it's having seen it. It's the type of movie it's not going to hit the same watching it on a TV at home. Like even if you don't have a phone or a computer or whatever, it's just like I love a good home sound system and like the comfort of it and being able to pause, go to the bathroom, whatever. But it's just like there really is something to be said about just sitting in a movie theater and having that be like the primary thing you're doing. You know,
100%.
like
I also got
it's
Alamo confused with a different movie theater chain. I remember Alamo. They had that video go viral, like the kitchen staff like quitting and all that, right?
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
That,
yeah.
that was Alamo. Dude, for some reason, I was thinking about Syndicated in Bushwick. For
Oh
some reason, you
shit.
said that, and like my mind went to Syndicated. Alamo was like, yeah, some whole other situation. I don't know if their food's any good. Syndicated's got good food.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't been to syndicated, so I'm gonna have to tap in. But Alamo does have good food. But yeah, no, I had a what did I have? I had like a chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich is actually just okay, but
Mm,
like they used to have this crazy they used to have this crazy pizza called the omnivore pizza that had like three different kinds of meat and a
mm,
bunch of different veggies, and you can get and like you can get their pizzas and like make them angry, where they just like throw red pepper and jalapenos and basil
oh,
and shit on it. It's like it's one like I mean like you're gonna fuck up some commas eating at fucking Alamo, but
yeah, so the
if you
movie
got
wasn't
it like
expensive
that, it's worth
enough
it.
to like, yeah, I also need to spend a bunch of money eating before I spend like $18 on a film. But
Yeah.
that's what it is, man. It's hard to keep a business open, right? Especially like a theater. It's like a lot of square footage of just like chairs, which
Yeah.
yeah, maybe why even like some of the big shots like a Spike Lee is like, yeah, we're doing a theatrical run for like a couple weeks. Or maybe I don't know, maybe that's part of the promotional plan. It's
I don't
hard to
know.
say. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird cuz like the two of them like they've done a bunch of press. Like they've been on a bunch of shows and have done stuff with like Letterboxd. I think they even did something with like Sports Illustrated for like so like they clearly want people to go see the movie. It's weird. I don't know.
was it
I
good?
don't know whose idea.
Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was I didn't love it, but it was definitely worth watching in a theater cuz like I have a lot of complicated feelings about like post Inside Man Spike Lee. I don't think he made a good movie for like a decade. And
Yeah,
then he put out The Five Bloods and The Five Bloods was great. And this new one is the first one he's done in a while that he didn't also write the screenplay for, which I didn't realize until I was watching the opening credits. And I was like, "Oh, he didn't write this one." So it's like but you can still hear his voice in it. Like if you know his ticks and his fascinations, like it's he's still in there, but it's not his he didn't write it. He just directed it.
right.
So so like that's always going to there's going to be like a little bit of a remove, but like Spike, he's been an old man for a long time, but this is the one where it feels like, damn, he's like really an old man. Like he doesn't like if it really feels like he made an episode of Empire and doesn't
Yeah.
understand anything about the music business post like
Uh-huh.
2010. You
Right.
know,
Right.
it's like it was hard for me to switch my it was hard for me to switch my music business music writer brain off while watching it because I'm just like you just don't
You feel, yeah,
understand
you
this
feel
shit.
like it's like, your favorite band gets signed to a big label. You're like, yo, like, this is my shit. Like, this is, that's how I felt when I saw, not to throw too much shade, but everyone was like tripping on mid 90s. And like, dude, I like grew up at a skate shop. I'm like, not in
Yeah.
California, like in fucking New Jersey, but it's like, this is like so close to like my world. And it just feels like just on the nose in a way that I'm like, relax. You know what I mean? We need like the close up panning shot of the Stretch and Bobbito tape. It's like, all right. But
Yeah, like
you
we
know,
get it, you know. Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, like stay in your lane. I'll try to stay in mine. But
Yeah.
respect. It's kind of started breaking my heart, like seeing Spike Lee and Capital One commercials.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's where I started thinking, like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like you got it.
And yeah, and then the whole NYPD thing, he did the I was just like, what are we doing, Spike? Like
But you know,
yeah.
you do what you got to do to like, I don't know. If someone offered you a bunch of money, are you gonna be like, no? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it depends on what everyone but like you're Spike Lee, bro. Like I don't know. That's like anybody else, I'd be like, fine, whatever. But like, you're Spike Lee. You got your own film company. Like you're fucking Spike. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
It's
agree. What do you think you would say about this combo?
I don't know. I wonder because like this being like half a movie podcast, he comes up a lot,
Sure.
and I talk a lot with a lot of people about my feelings about his catalog. For like, he has an incredible run like at the beginning, and then like it was like literally just a decade of trash in my opinion. And then it's so like it's like I've talked about it a lot, and I think about it like if he ever listens back to this and we talk, like I don't know how he'd feel about it. I'm sure he'd have a lot to say to me because he's a very opinionated man, and that's fine,
For
you know.
sure. Yeah, and you hear it from the horse's mouth, and you're like, oh, like okay, right? Like
Yeah,
if you were to break it down, you're like, here's why I did this, and you're like,
yeah,
all right, dude, like I hear you, like point taken, like as as a person sitting at home, and it's like, well, X, Y, and Z, and you're like, okay,
yeah. Like I would be interested to talk to him for any reason
I'm
one
trying to get
day.
on the show
One day, yeah. Like I'm gonna
this
figure something out, you know. Like
this
give
month,
me, yeah, no.
this
give
month,
me give
maybe
me
next month, maybe Spike Lee,
give me like 3 months and we'll make it happen. I promise.
right?
um, there was one other thing I wanted to touch on before we moved on. What was it? Because we talked about you watching Solaris, we talked about Alien. There was something else you mentioned that oh yeah, Nightbreed. Right, I wanted to talk about Nightbreed
Mhm.
because I was thinking about it because I was at the Ka Memorial a couple times this week, and one of the nights they had Natural Elements come through, and they talked about him and his boy Kev making their group called Nightbreed. And we found out, and like I always wondered in my head if it was named after the movie, and they confirmed that night that like they got that like Ka was a big fan of Nightbreed, and he was just like, this shit's ill, like let's call ourselves Nightbreed, like,
Oh,
you
dude, that's
know.
crazy. Because I admittedly like forgot, like I fully like last Friday I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to this Con Memorial thing, like gotta do it. And then like some point later on in the day, I was like, fuck, I forgot to go. Like it was like in my calendar was supposed to go, and I ended up not going. I'm
Damn.
ashamed to admit, yeah,
Oh.
not happy about that. But that's crazy.
Yeah, like yeah, because like they did the I want to say that Wednesday, yeah, last Wednesday it was the talk with the Natural Elements dudes like Charlemagne and Mr. Voodoo,
Hmm.
and Thursday it was them talk, it was Mimi, his wife, talking with them with his fire brigade, like a bunch of his like firemen coworkers, and then Friday was Rock Marcy and Preservation, and
I
it
know,
was like it
I
was a
know.
packed fucking house. It was
Rowan
crazy.
said he went to that one. I was like, damn, bro. That would have been, yeah, that would have been the time to go.
Yeah,
Insert
it was.
excuse here. That's really
Oh,
cool. You went to all those?
I went to 2 nights. I went to the Wednesday and the Friday.
Very cool.
I really wanted to go to the Thursday one, but I couldn't make it happen. But yeah, it was beautiful. You know, like as somebody who's like a big fan and like met him a couple times, and like yeah, it was. I miss him a lot, so it was nice to.
And everyone I know who's ever like had like any interactions with him has only had like just 5-star reviews. I do was like a class act by all accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like and like I held off on doing the deep dive on his music until like maybe a couple days before that, and I just ran through every album and was just like
Yeah, he was
I
crazy.
like yeah, I like I had been listening so much like after he passed, and then I had to stop because it was just making me really sad, and then like I just did it all again. Yeah, he was like like I feel like I'm at the point where I could say he's one of my favorites ever, and I felt that way before he passed too, but like especially just going back and assessing everything, just I don't know,
And
man. Nobody did it like him.
nah, I would say he like, who am I to say, but in my humble opinion, like I think as good as like anybody. I think
Yeah,
he's as good as like anyone who ever like spit it. And like I respect so much like the way he moved about it. Like I think that dude probably could have like had a full-time rap career, but like instead he was a fire chief and like saved people's lives for a living and just like loved the craft and put out music like when he wanted, when he had the time. It did well, and then just like, kind of disappeared. Wasn't like all fucking on Instagram live and this and that. It's like he treated the craft with such respect and like just really, really cool.
Yeah, like, and yeah, like did it, like he built his own thing and had his like very close knit circle of collaborators between Mimi Valdez and like all the producers he worked with, like Rock and Animos, and just like he really, like he turned his whole thing into a little cottage industry that just like I went to every pop up he did since Honor. No, maybe it was either Honor or Dr. Yen Lo. I can never remember which one was the first one I went to. But like when he did the one post COVID, like or like he did it like right after the peak of the pandemic, because
I
like
remember that.
he wound up missing an album cycle. There were two people on that line. One flew in from Montreal just to see him, and
Mhm.
one person flew in from Colombia just to see him.
Wow, that's so sad.
And like you really like you can't put a price on that kind of influence. Like like people aren't flying between hemispheres for no reason.
Right.
Like
And for
that's
an
different.
independent artist, right? He wasn't part of some like bigger system or like some crazy like, management scheme. It's like he was a rare breed of someone that's like, the age old, like be so good people can't ignore you. It's like that shit is all well and good, but like let's be real, like not everyone can have that luxury. And like Ka is like that luxury. Like he was just so
Yeah.
dope. He could just kind of drop when he wanted and people would fly in from Montreal just to like shake his hand. And then like you wouldn't hear from him for a minute. And then like he dropped again and everyone knew like it was gonna be just poetic brilliance and kind of like bob and weave as he pleased just because he was just
Yeah.
like so nice.
So inspiring, in more ways than I can describe. But it made me really, because like, and just like hearing them talk about like, because like of course on record he's like very stoic, very kind of like you have to gird yourself to get through this like very emotional personal
Yeah,
stuff. And then you just hear people talk about him, and he was just like a goofball who joked all the time and like
totally.
loved to watch movies. And like
Yeah.
once again, I would never. My fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the Real Notes Patreon one time. For as little as $5 a month, you get exclusive goodies like video of every interview, 2-day early access to every interview, an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, exclusive access to the Real Talk Movie Night archive, and early pre-sale links for all live events. If you want to give a little more, you get other exclusives like retro 60-second movie reviews and monthly 90-minute workshops with me, where we can discuss whatever creative questions or projects you might have going on. Head over to patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES to join right now. I repeat, all videos will only be available on the Patreon. Thanks for listening. Shout out to my patrons. Now let's get back to talking. Strike him. I would never clock him as a person to watch a movie like Nightbreed. So to hear
Yeah,
to hear him say that, to hear Mimi say that just made me so happy. I was like, cool, like it's like it's just cool to know that like if we had gotten the chance to build more, I'm sure that would have come up, and I would have been like,
it's funny because like even though you're in the game for a while, you meet and interview a bunch of people, you meet your heroes for better or for worse. You're around, and it's kind of like you still have this thought that I'm like, nah, like the person that's on that record is an extension of who this person is, like
yeah,
at all times or something. Like it's like, and then you hear differently or experience for yourself differently, and it's like some like seeing your professor at the supermarket kind of thing that you're like, oh
yeah,
shit, dude. Like even in my own little weird life, like how many times I've met kids at shows or just randomly at another person's show, and they're just like, oh, I can't believe like you're not an asshole. Like I just like figured you would be a dick. I was like, I have my ways, but like not like a reasonable person for the most part. And they're like, yeah,
yeah.
just like listening to music. Like I just thought for sure you'd be like an asshole when I met you. I'm like, I get that.
Yeah, no, revisiting Useless Eaters,
Uh-huh.
I could see why people might think that, but also like it's like very much a heart of gold in there, you know, like it's
I was young and angry.
yeah, yeah, but I mean like that shit really, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I have specific things to say about those early projects that I'll get to later, but yeah, like it like I could see why people would think that, but I'm
Same.
at a point now where like I listen to stuff like that, even if whether it's older or newer or whatever. And unless you like, unless it's very clear that this person is like hateful and fucked up, my immediate assumption is like that's probably the nicest person on planet Earth. Or like if not the nicest person, like they're just like a normal person and music's the outlet and they're just kind of
Totally.
spewing, you know, like it's like not even that I'm giving people grace, but like I've just like you said, just based off of having met people and having expectations get turned upside down, it's like, oh yeah, like it's probably just like a normal person who puts their pants on one leg at a time,
For
buys, you
sure.
know, like buys like tea packets and fucking like cheese doodles and beer at the
Yeah,
fucking
just do
gas
buy cheese
station like
doodles.
everybody else.
Exactly what
Like
you want. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, my like MC or rapper rule of thumb is like it's like a normal person with a little more insecure than average that projects it as a little more cocky than average. And then in between
right.
there, yeah, they're just like still just fucking buying cheese doodles and trying to figure out why they're here.
Word, exactly. But before we get too deep into that, I want to break down your viewing history a little bit. What's the first movie experience you can remember having, bro? It could be
Nice.
at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. Just like the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
thing that
yeah.
comes to mind.
I think, or to our earlier point, like seeing a film at a theater also like imprints it in your memory so much more like distinctly. Like
Facts.
no matter what the film, even if you hated it, like you've seen it at a
Yeah.
theater, like that makes a memory. You watch it at the crib, it's like 50-50. Um, shit. Seeing Jurassic, yeah, so I'm a little bit older. I'm gonna show my age now. I was a child when I saw Jurassic Park in theaters, and that
Hmm.
shit was like unbelievable. That really stands out as like an insane cinematic experience. Which, dude, funny enough, literally like right before we spoke, I got a younger brother whose friend writes for High Snobiety in
Oh
Germany.
shit.
Just interviewed Jeff Goldblum and was wearing a shirt that I guess my mom had gifted him. So my mom gifted my brother's friend some like wild ass pink shirt she like didn't want, and he wore it for the Jeff Goldblum interview. And Jeff Goldblum was like, "That's a really interesting shirt. Like, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, actually, like a psychologist in New Jersey gifted me this because she thought I would like it." He's like, "Oh, I can feel." I was like, "Yo." He's like a psychologist in New Jersey, and my brother sent me because he sent my brother like the audio bit. I was like, "Oh, I'm sampling that shit."
Wow. Oh
Like,
yeah, you
it's a
better. Like
Goldblum speaking on my mom's fashion. So I'm like, this is crazy. But Jurassic Park really sticks out. I remember seeing I Know What You Did Last Summer in theaters. And I think that was like one of the first times I was like legitimately frightened in public. Thinking back on that now, but like that era, like the Wes Craven, like Scream, I Know What You Did, even like, I don't know, like later Halloweens and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like New Nightmare and shit too. Yeah.
Yeah, even like Freddy vs. Jason, that was like a little after, but like
Yeah.
that little Dimension Films run was like
Oof.
badass, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
And all these years
Yeah.
removed,
Sorry.
yeah, I think like the idea of like horror films in theater, it's kind of like all we got left. I know that's like a broken record thought, but it's like aside from like superhero movies, like what are like the films like packing theaters, or like what are people willing, studio houses like willing to take chances on? It's like your slashers and avant-garde like horror films, right? Like Substance made
Yeah.
like the most money ever. And I'm like, I can't, well, not the most money ever, but a lot more than was projected. I'm like, I can't believe they kept that ending.
Right. Yeah. Nah. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like. Funny enough, like Sharif and I saw the Substance together last
So,
year, and like it was like a yeah it was packed, you know, like sold
mhm.
out
Well, you
show,
couldn't
and just
see it.
like
Yeah, yeah. It took me like a few tries to go see it. I was like, for this movie, like sick, but like weird.
Yeah, because like you think about it, and like the two highest grossing movies of the year are not the two highest, but like, or one of the highest is Sinners. Weapons just came out, and like that's been doing numbers. It's not one of the it's not the second highest grossing movie of the year, but it's like people are still talking about it. People are still
Yeah,
seeing it. It's like it was like an
filling
event,
seats.
you know.
Did you see
Like
it?
yeah, I fucked with it heavy, hard
Cool.
body.
I
Like
really
yeah.
like The Leftovers on HBO, and I've been hearing. So I mean, I read the synopsis. I haven't seen it yet. I saw Sinners. I thought it was cool. Some like
Mhm.
great moments, some great scenes. I thought they could have probably also shaved like 30 minutes off, but like it was cool.
Yeah, I feel it. I've talked about Sinners a bunch on here. I really really like it. I watched it too many times in a row, and I think I need to give myself some distance because like I almost felt. So did you see Skinamarink when it came out last year?
No.
So how do I describe? So like Skinamarink is this movie that this I forget son's name, but he's like a Canadian film director. It's like his big. He was like a big YouTuber, and he like made a movie, and it's this movie about these two kids who are
Oh
like
yeah, I
home
just looked
alone
it
at
up.
night, and
Uh-huh,
yeah, like
uh-huh. I remember this.
yeah. So like I saw Skinamarink like 3 times in a month. I saw it twice in theater. I saw it once by myself. Shit was lit.
So
My sister wanted to go see it, so we saw it at the theater, and then I watched it at home with my lady, who fucking hated it. Yeah, no, Desiree hated Skinamarink. I love it. I think it's great, but like I noticed on that third time, I was like, maybe I need to stop watching this movie so much and give it some space. Like it's been over a year, and I think Sinners might have did the same thing for me because I saw it in theaters twice. I saw it at the IMAX at Lincoln Center, and then I watched it with my lady, and who was like, "It's cool," and I'm like, "I really like this," but at the same time, I was like, maybe I'm kind of burnt out on this shit, and I need to give it some space. And once I
totally.
give it some space, I'm gonna go back and be like, "Wow, like
Yeah,
this shit's
when you
crazy."
remember, yeah, when you start remembering lines or remember what happens next, like especially for that genre, a horror film, like the whole get is like not knowing what happens next. So it's like
Yeah.
once you know what happens next, they're like a lot of the wind is out of the sails.
Right. But at the same time, it's like you can like if you like the movie enough, you can like at least appreciate the craft of it and like how cool it is that they managed to pull it off. But yeah, like you're never gonna be able to see it for the first time ever again. Which you could say the same thing about comedy too. And like my favorite movie of all time is Black Dynamite, and like I'll
Right.
watch it. I'll watch it. Like I know every joke. I know when everything
Uh-huh.
like I will sit there and quote the whole movie front to back.
Hmm.
But I love it. Like it makes me laugh, and it all depends on how much you like the movie. Like
It's
I think that's a big factor.
it's funny. It's like as I was saying what I just said, like horror, like there's a bit of like the whole surprise element when it's not in there. It's not as exciting. And I was about to say, but I was like, I don't need to say this right now, but maybe I wish I did. It's like comedy's a little different. Like there is a certain quality that like no matter the joke they're about to make, like it's still good. Like how many times have I watched Clerks? I'm like, still fucking
Right.
like
Yo.
the best films of them all. It's kind of like okay, whatever. Like dude, if Casino's on, I don't care like what point in the film. If I'm like walking by a TV and like it's on, I'm like, there goes my plans for the day. Like sit down and like finish it, even though you know it's about to happen. It's like
Word.
moth to a flame sort of effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like Casino is a great example of yeah. Like I'm also gonna sit down and watch Casino. It's definitely one of those. I don't know. It's just like, but like you could also say the same about something like Jurassic Park. Like it's like I struggle to call any movie perfect, but Jurassic Park is like whenever I judge anything, it's always like, is this the best version of what it's trying to be? And
Sure,
Jurassic Park is the best version of it's like in that sense, it's a perfect movie. Like it,
100%.
it really is just like it's crowd pleasing, it's funny, it's thrilling, it's dramatic, there's a tiny bit of romance. It's
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
just caters to every demographic and like doesn't try too hard. It just works. It's a great bit of sci-fi allegory. Like it works on every single level, and
yes.
like you really gotta respect like that's one I've never seen in theaters, and one that like if they ever do a re-release, I'm in. Like,
Yeah, I can only imagine like it's gonna happen. I didn't check out. They put like a newer whatever. There was a new Jurassic Park in this past like year or two, right?
yeah, mm-hmm.
Am I making that up? Yeah, I didn't. I don't even like think to go see it. Like I'm good. But even thinking about like a film, the yeah, exactly, hitting the mark without feeling like it's trying to hit a mark, and then even like it's a different time and age now. But like when Jurassic Park came out, like it, like, did a lot for, like, geology. It did a lot for, like, museum attendance. Like, it was like a cultural phenomenon. Like, motherfuckers were going to,
Mm-hmm.
like, the Museum of Natural History fervently because it's like there was just an obsession with, like, this whole culture, and it's like, that's crazy. And I don't know, does a film have or does a album, does a TV show have the, potential to make that sort of, like, widespread cultural impact in this fast-paced age? Like, I'm not sure.
It's definitely few and far between. There's like three examples I could think of, and none of them are like or like Black Panther was a phenomenon in the sense
Sure.
that like schools were getting paid or like schools were paying to send their students and like yeah, I mean like everybody wanted to go see that.
Yeah,
Um the fucking the Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce thing happened, but like once again, that's like comparing people freaking out about not being able to get sauce to like people going to museums like it's obviously not the
for
like
sure.
they're different things, but like they're phenomena for different reasons, but it's definitely few and far between because everything's niche now or like not everything's niche, but like monoculture is not as like like not everybody depends on the same three things to get what they want anymore.
Totally.
So like like
Which
there's
is cool, which is exciting, right?
yeah,
It's exciting for people like us because I have my little like yeah, like we have our little micro fan bases, and these people because of the accessibility to info like know about all sorts of shit.
right,
Newer generations are like so on top of stuff, and there's no real dividing lines between subcultures and niche versus popular. It's like it doesn't really feel like that the same way anymore, which is like great,
right,
but it's also so much harder for anything to have like long-standing impacts, right? Like I remember growing up,
yeah.
like a record would hit for like years, like an album was out for 2 years and they were releasing a new single off of it, and now it's like not so much in rock, but like in certain music forms, like motherfuckers doing 2, 3 records in a year.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah,
home
it's
still, you know.
right, like sometimes even more than that. Like there's people
Hmm.
putting out like a dozen projects in a year, and like it's like it's cool to be fed, but every once in a while it's just like I don't know. It really is different when it's like this one project that either because like sometimes it'll just be like a thing will come out and then 6 months later it'll just hit for no reason, and
Right.
then like it'll stay, but it's it's just sifting through all that is like is interesting because of like what we're used to, but that's just
It's easier to make stuff like anything, not to
yeah,
discredit the any art form, but like we're making like a film right now, basically, right? Like this wasn't
yeah,
always available. I have a thing on my phone that lets me make an album, a movie, a doc, like what have you, like whenever I want, and I can use the same tools as the giants to, in theory, release it. Obviously, they have their own little systems in place, but like really,
right,
like I can upload, I can use the same streaming platforms that Drake uses, like right now, and that's everyone. So like,
yeah.
there's just more muck, and there's more good shit too.
Right. Yeah. No. Like, and that's a misconception that I think a lot of people have is like there was bullshit coming out in those eras too. Everybody like the way people talk about like the '90s and even the 2000s and kind of coming up on the 2010s now. People talk about those eras like it was all just like nothing but classic, 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 and it's
Yes,
like there
hell
was a
fucking
ton
no.
of bullshit happening in all those eras. Like it's like
Always.
yeah. So
There's
it's
there's just more of both now, and really, like I remember when I was younger, like the old heads in my day, and like obviously, yeah, like there are some differences worth noting, but I was always like, I'm never gonna be that dude. Like when I get older, like it's up to the kids, it's up to the next generation. Like I remember Tame One, God rest his soul, was like hip hop is a young man's sport, and it's like I think that can be applied to filmmaking, whatever, painting, fucking soccer. And it's like, don't be the one bitter because like you don't understand what's going on. Like try to find out. When someone's like, there's no
Yeah.
more good music coming out, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, you just are resting on these bullshit laurels that are like, you're just lazy. You're not looking for it. And it's like,
Right.
we don't need to talk about music then. It's like, we don't
Right.
need to talk about Supreme Clientele again. Like, it's like
Right. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
lost on YouTube. Like, not no diss to any of that, but it's like just get
Yeah.
lost
Of
on
course.
YouTube, and like there will be music there for you to find. If you don't want to find it,
Yeah, man. And I don't, because like the Clips album just came out.
mhm,
It's cool. I'm not huge on it. Like I expected to be, like as somebody who's been a Clips fan for like 20 years, but like like that irritated me when you see people being like, rap is back. The Clips are I'm just like, what? It's
yeah,
like, of course, like everyone's eyes are attuned to different things, and people like y'all and like the Backwoods Gang and people like they're obviously working at a different ceiling from somebody like Pusha T,
yeah,
but it's just like the stuff is there. Like the stuff, it never left. Like
right,
people are still making like interesting, cool, boundary pushing, and forget boundary pushing. It's just dope. Like people are still, and you're like, that's like I've dedicated my life to being like,
yeah.
look at this
For
shit
sure.
down here. Like it's just it
That
gets to a point where like people think that it just gets to a point where it's just like this is like it's cool, but this shit down here is like if you
yeah,
give it a chance, like come on, like
you're kind of still being told what to like. You know what I mean? It's like it's
yeah,
still kind of like, yo, like it's back, it's back. I'm like, you're just not checking. Like finally something was like released at like a mass scale enough that resembles something that like maybe you cared more about when you were younger. And like I get it, like I have
yeah,
the unique luxury of like staying kind of tapped into like different subcultures, and I'm like, that's kind of the life I built for myself. That's a sacrifice I've made, right? Like I don't like, dude, I
word.
don't have any kids. Like I'm just gonna like, tomorrow's Friday, I'm gonna listen to some new records, but I don't know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? It's like just
Yeah, hundred
people just
percent.
I get it, don't have enough time to know what's going on. So it's like, oh, Clips, I remember them. Yeah, I'll go check that. It's on a major. It's gonna be shoved in your face from like every ad possible. So people feel like, oh, now like I'm being represented, but it's like, nah, bro, look a little beneath the surface, and every week, like there's some whatever kind of music you like, there's great shit coming out.
Yeah,
Cinema is a little more difficult, right? It's harder to make a film. It's more expensive to make a film, and it's even more difficult to get people to see it. But still, indie film world, it's like it exists. That Clips record, the coolest thing to me was like how hard they're putting on for Stove God. I
right.
was like, whoa. Like I didn't like realize that connection. Maybe I'm like out of the loop, but I'm like, I didn't realize they were rocking together like that. And it was cool to see someone from maybe not like backwoods camp, but like, indie adjacent, definitely down with like Rock
Yeah,
Marcy. We were talking about Ka before, like in that whole universe, in that kind of like Griselda adjacent universe, like on a
yeah,
bunch of tracks with fucking, like Pharrell's involved with. I'm like, not on my
yeah.
bingo card.
Right. Yeah. No. Even though I feel like I think I would have appreciated Stove God having a verse as opposed to just a hook. But like Push has mentioned him quite a few times in like
Yeah.
interviews, not even just this year, but like a year or two back. He's like, I love Stove God cooks, and like that's like once again, like at this point, it's still kind of like we've hit that point where like even like the Griselda affiliates is kind of like very 2-3 inches down as
Hmm.
opposed to like being like 3 feet in the ice, but like once again like everyone's mileage will vary, but like you said, like net positive, like
Net
definitely a net
positive for
positive
sure.
that he got that look, because now maybe he'll get out of that shitty deal he's in, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, maybe someone will come along with enough money to get him out of it.
Hope
And
so.
I think there's now like it was kind of this inaccessibility that was, I don't know, marketed or maybe just inherent amongst labels, artists, entertainers, that like you can't get to me and I don't give a shit what you're doing, right? Like
Yeah,
I can't speak on all these dudes' behalfs, but it seemed like there wasn't a ton of people really like worried about what artists smaller than them were up to way back when, where it's like nowadays it's a necessity and you can call it vamping, you could call it looking for inspiration, you could call it keeping your ear to the street, but it's like there's a certain like importance and attention to relevance and other relevant artists that like, yeah, the big guys are looking at the smaller guys and like they need to be up on shit because your fans are. Right now, your
Yeah.
fans just aren't some like mainstream whatever the radio tells me to listen to. Like these kids are like informed and like know what's cool. So like it's in your best
Yeah.
interest to also know.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. Sorry. There were like two or three other questions that I know I need to get to, but like this has just been so ripe already. So as you get older, yeah, as you get older and you start to have like just start to like refine your palate and have more experiences, I like to think of this as a capital M movie. The first one that you saw that really stopped you in your tracks and connected with you in a emotional, artistic, or spiritual way, like just yeah, one of those, like the first one of those you can remember.
Cool. Jurassic Park just like blew my mind, but
Yeah.
I'll answer. All right, ready? One movie that really stands out from childhood that impacted me in an emotional way, maybe not in a positive way, but I remember seeing the first It at a
Mm,
sleepover party, and it like, dude, that shit rocked me for like 8 years after that. Like walking home from school past sewers, like just this idea, like, a good horror film should be psychological, right? Yeah, it's scary, there's like a monster, but like what if like it's within you? So the fact that like something can come true just by the fact of you believing in it creates this like almost like psychological warfare. And in a young kid, it's just like if I think about it, it'll happen. If I don't think about it, it doesn't happen. And I
yeah.
can't stop
Yeah.
thinking about not thinking about it or whatever. That film really stood out to me. It's just like, yeah, like a
And this
almost like a
was
loss of
oh,
innocence or something at a young age.
and yeah, this was the Tim Curry one you're talking about.
Yeah, like the Stephen King, like first the two
Yeah.
parter, which actually I thought the
Hmm.
ending was kind of like trash, but
Yeah.
the
It's not
first
good.
part, like unbelievable.
And it's funny because you could say the same thing about the two parter from they did like wow almost 10 years ago at this point.
Right.
Yeah, because like that first one's incredible. Second one's not trash, but it's like
Yeah.
not as good.
I went
But
and saw it in theaters. I was like, maybe I'm just like
same.
older now.
Hmm.
It's hard
Yeah,
to like replicate that, like, you know, the
yeah,
management.
no,
I'm not going to get that thrill again.
right. Yeah, especially not from something you've already seen, unless they like revamp it so crazy that it's so different and scares you in a different way, which can
Right.
happen.
Totally.
But I don't think that happened this time.
Yeah. No, not so much. But I was like, oh, this is cool. This is fun.
um,
Trying to think of some other films that really like, hmm, had an impact on a young me. A little bit later in life, not too much later in life. Seeing kids definitely like.
yeah,
Dude,
that
Fatboi Sharif is the only person I'm aware of that like watches that movie for like entertainment. Like you
he
see kids
would,
once, you're
bro.
like, okay, like all good here. Like, don't want to watch
Yeah,
this again. Sharif said when he was growing up, he would like have the VHS or like, yo, let's watch kids. Like, let's put that shit on. Which yo, Leo Fitzpatrick, West Orange.
yeah. Shout out, yeah.
Leo, man, lousy Leo. But yeah, that was definitely a film that I was like, whoa. And like kind of I was coming of age at that point and just like, yeah.
Yeah.
The AIDS epidemic was like full swing and it was just like shit kind of rattled me. I was probably like 11 or 12 when I saw it. I was
Mm.
just like, ugh. But
Yeah. Damn, how old was I when I saw kids? I had to have been like 14. It was somewhere between the ages of 14, 13, and 16.
yeah.
And yeah, like it's like I feel like people within our age bracket, that's the one where it's like cuz like growing up where we grew up, like having that access to the city, like having
Hmm.
it be right outside, and also just like Essex County being what it is, like being near Bloomfield and Newark, and just like and just like how interconnected all of Essex is. Like I grew up in Montclair, you were in West Orange. Like people were coming from once again Bloomfield and Newark and Orange and East Orange
Hmm.
and wherever the fuck else. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it almost got to a point where it didn't matter, but it also mattered. It's weird. I don't know. Like it's like I can't describe Essex to people who don't live here or haven't come.
It's
It's
crazy. It's crazy.
strange.
Yeah, and I didn't really appreciate it until I started traveling, started touring, and like really went to college, and I was just like, oh shit, it's like this diversity I took for granted growing up, like
Yeah.
is so rare. Actually, it's like so unique to like this tiny little region where we both happen to come from, and like I don't know, grateful for that. Like so grateful for that. And I realized that is not like a majority of people's experience.
Yeah. And then especially to see that reflected in a movie like Kids,
Hmm.
and just like in a way that's not like it's not sanitized at all. Like these like a lot of the kids in that movie were just like literal kids they pulled off the street,
Yeah.
which obviously makes it kind of icky when like considering all
Total
the
I
shit
mean,
they do in
all of
there.
it. Yeah, all of it. I
Like,
mean, Larry Clark, we can get
but
into like the myth of that dude. That's like a whole other thing.
yeah,
But it's like,
yeah,
yeah, like would a film like that get made today in that capacity? Would it get made? Would it get made that way? Would it get made that way? Would it even like would I
yeah.
just different
And
times, man.
yo, like you could say that about every Larry Clark movie. You could say that about Bully. You could especially say that about Ken Park. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen Ken Park.
I'm
Yo,
aware of it. I've never watched it. Is it worth a go? I kind of just like know that dude's arc at this
yeah.
point. I mean, something terrible is going to happen soon. It's like,
So all I'm gonna say is Ken Park is worth a watch. Like if you could stomach Kids, you'll
mhm,
be able to stomach Ken Park. Just know that it's a lot. Like even by
okay,
his standards, it's like I would actually put it like 2 or 3 notches above Kids in terms of just like what it's about, what goes on in it. It's a pretty rough watch. Like it's you're not gonna walk away happy about the state of the world after
yeah,
watching Ken Park.
no,
But it's
that's
but
definitely
just like as an experience, as like a film, it's very good. I'm
cool.
not gonna say it's not good, but it's good.
Okay, I'm with it. I saw the last Clark film I've seen. I watched What's Up Rockers,
Oh wow.
which actually I was like, oh, this is like okay, like about what you thought, but I was like, he's an older guy trying to like assimilate. I'm like, he did okay. I'm
Hmm.
like, this is definitely like a side of Los Angeles life. Like, I don't hate it, but he's put out quite a few. Well, he put out like a handful of films since then, right? I haven't really kept up.
Yeah, me either. I haven't kept up. I think Bully was the most recent one I've seen, so I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you.
Bully was bad.
Um, but I mean, but like I might keep up with Corinne quite a bit. I still haven't seen Baby Invasion, but I saw Aggro Drift, the one that came out last year with the infrared shit. I fuck with that. That
Is
movie
it
was
good?
crazy. I
You
liked
know,
it. Yeah,
Harmony Korine's not my favorite. I'm down with like Gummo and some of his earlier
yeah.
things. I'm down. That
Gummo's
dude just like,
amazing. I love Gummo.
yeah, that dude just started a skateboard company, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
relax, Harmony Korine. Again,
yeah,
like
yeah.
with
It,
respect, but I'm just sort of like, why does this guy need to like do this right now?
I don't know.
How
See,
old?
like
Like,
he's pushing 50. He's pushing 50.
yeah, I'm like, just I don't know. Like, is
Yeah,
this your world? Like, I don't foresee it. With respect, whatever. I don't want to
yeah,
like throw shade. Harmony Korine's cool.
yeah. But I get it. I get exactly where you're coming from. It's like a lot, like a lot of his stuff can feel very "how do you do, fellow kids" in a
Big
way
time,
that makes
big
me
time.
uncomfortable. But when the movies work, like I liked Aggro Drift a lot. Just once again, as like a purely like stimulating visual audio experience, like a really cool experiment. Arab music, incredible soundtrack. I had him on the pod earlier this year, like
Cool, cool.
super
Okay,
dope.
I fuck with that.
But like, but yeah, like it's some of the decisions he makes. It's just like it's like he's trying too hard to like with like a Baby Invasion. Apparently, Arca did the score for it, and the two of them they never met in person. They apparently like exchanged files over Discord, and I'm like. And I was like, "Why is your 50-year-old ass on Discord, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
And why
what are
is your
we doing
50-year-old
here?"
ass starting a fucking skateboard company? Or I think it's more than that. It's like a multimedia
Yeah.
company or whatever, and it's called Edgelord. And I'm just like,
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
It's
bro,
like a production company. Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
nobody
Yeah,
gives a shit. And the edits kind of like all these little effects and things that are like,
yeah,
pieces of like maybe like an Alien Workshop Habitat era like B-roll things. It's got the parts, but like the car
right.
don't start. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to push the needle forward. I'm like, maybe you're not the guy to do that, HK. But like,
Right.
who the fuck am I to say? Like, respect. Here I am talking about him, and like he's like regarded as like that boy. So like,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
know, worth. All I'm gonna say is it's worth acknowledging. Definitely, it's worth
totally,
acknowledging.
totally.
But now that we're on this subject and we can jump over and do the music side, yeah, when did music become capital M music for you? Not even in terms of you wanting to make it, but just like fucking with music and being fascinated by it.
Like, I don't like have a memory of life like when it like wasn't. Honestly, like from
Mm.
I didn't really grow up in like a particularly like musical household. Like you see interviews with cats, like my mom was always, as Ella Fitzgerald was on, and like I learned how to sing. I was like, I wasn't really like that.
Right.
My like I kind of like forced that out of my parents. And my dad showed me like Chuck Berry and like Woody Guthrie and like Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, and like some cool stuff when I was a kid. But it was really just like MTV. By age like I don't know 6, 5. Like as soon as I like somehow flipped through there and like saw a couple music videos, and then dude, I haven't thought about this guy in a while. This kid Fred Roca. He was from Brazil. He was a friend of mine's cousin, moved from Brazil, which was cool. He had an older brother who was a metalhead. Always an older brother, right? Gil, bro.
Always.
Gil Roca. And we were probably, dude, second grade, and he showed us Metallica. The first Korn record was out, like Sepultura, Pantera, just like, the metal greats. And then I had another friend, David Perez, who's like older brother, was like a hip hop head. So he showed us like Wu Tang, like Capone and Noriega, like, Biggie at like really young ages. So I was like all in. I remember you're a little kid, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, yo, like rock star. But piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it was just like always. Yeah. And then started like making music. I don't know. I probably started taking guitar lessons. It had to have been in like fourth or fifth grade. And then kind of found my way to drums and was always like writing, like as a young kid, like freestyling like came easy to me. And I was like obsessed with hip hop music by like, 7, 8, that was like the tail end of like the 90s golden era, like it's the
Hmm.
shiny suit era were kind of taking place, but I was like a little too young to like distinguish the difference. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. It was just like always my shit.
And when did skating come into play for you? Because like I mean, like of course you're not working at the shop at 7, 8 years old, but like
Yeah,
but
no, but
those
I
like
was like same kind of thing though. Like skateboarding and music was kind of like I almost like don't remember the first time
right.
I saw it, but I just knew. Like by the
Yeah.
time I can think of some of like my like earliest memories, it was like this is like what I was into. I had a cousin give me two old school like fish boards, like a little plastic like rolly wheel, like roller skate wheel fish boards that I still have. They're probably worth a few bucks, but just kind of learned on that. Same old story. Parents got me like a shitty Toys R Us board. Eventually got a real one, but by like
Yeah. Yeah.
the end of elementary school, like fully like into skateboarding, obsessed with skateboarding. Then I went to middle school and really like met more people that were like knew about it. Really, my friend Pat Dowd, whose brother would be Dave Dowd, who opened Division East. Like I met him, went to preschool together, but we re-met later. Sixth grade, he was like into skating. He like knew about stuff. He had an older brother, so he had like the Osiris video. He had like the Storm. He had, I saw like
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
building like Toy Machine, like on VHS, or like the earlier like Big Brother videos, 411s. And yeah, it was just in and didn't really like see the dividing lines between like punk and hip hop and skateboarding, graffiti. Like I feel like that shit always seemed kind of fluid to me. But
Hmm.
thinking back, maybe like it wasn't from scene to scene. And I think again nowadays, like it is.
Yeah.
Like
Like I mean, like
your
even
favorite rapper can kickflip,
right.
Like probably.
it's because like I mean like to me as somebody who always loved and appreciated skateboard culture but never like actually like actively got involved the way I might have wanted to. My parents also bought me a shitty Toys R Us deck. It was a it was a deck with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the Green Goblin on it. And I
Hell
think
yeah.
I think I
What?
might have did I think I tried a kickflip. I think I think I made it like 80% of the way through that motherfucker, and then I did like a manual, and I was like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
But I always loved watching the videos. I was a big Tony Hawk kid, you
Mhm,
know, like
mhm.
and then of course like just like the relationship between skating and music was always there. And then like through those, I'm like through the through skate videos and through the games, like it seems cliche, but like those Tony Hawk soundtracks played such a
Crazy. Yeah,
huge
man.
fucking role
I
in like the music that I was gravitating towards across the genre spectrum, but particularly with the rap and metal stuff, like,
dude, it
you know.
was, so it did so much for skateboarding. I think we're still seeing like the I don't know, the cloud of smoke of that. Like, skateboarding's in the Olympics now. I think if you were really
Right.
like to do the crime map, it's like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? I remember when that shit came out. Like I was already,
Mm,
I was in early middle school and I was like, oh my God, they're making a skateboarding video game. First was EA Skate, and it was like Thrasher was involved. It was kind of like proto, like it was hard. And you had to like Ollie, and Tony Hawk came out and it was like graphics were better, way more user friendly. All the pro skaters of the day, like,
yeah.
bands I was already into were on the soundtrack. It was just like, oh my
Yeah.
fucking God. And then like quarterbacks at school were like, what are you gonna fucking do a nose blunt slide? And I was like, whoa, like how do these people,
Like, you know what that means?
yeah,
Yeah.
do a Benihana? And it's like, wow, like the cat's out of the bag. Like this was like such a,
Wow.
cult thing. And like, like anything, good and bad. But at the end of the day, like hopefully people that deserve to be making a few dollars for their talents and their efforts are, there's more of an industry for it. There's more people doing it now more than ever.
Right. Yeah, like, yeah, it's just, like, it's just not like, we're starting to see it now with the re-releases and the remasters of 1, 2, 3, and 4 coming
Hmm.
out, and I don't know, just, like, going back and, like, I played the shit out of the 1 and 2 remasters. I'm probably gonna get 3 and 4 pretty soon too, but I don't know, just, like, the way that really played such a huge like, first place I ever heard Ultramagnetic MCs, first
Yeah.
place I ever heard Grand Poobah, first
Hmm.
place I ever heard, like, 3 Inches of Blood, and Jimmy Eat World, and, like,
Yeah, man.
all these fucking, all these bands and all these groups, like,
Yeah,
you
dude.
know,
Public
it's just
Enemy, Suicide Machines,
yeah,
like, and all these skateboarders like got bags. All these bands, these like punk bands,
yeah,
like got a few bucks and got new fans. Like it was such a good thing for the culture
yeah,
through this. Otherwise, like who is it? Sony, like this fucking
yeah,
corporate enterprise is like sprinkling these little seeds on people that are like, some of them maybe like sleeping on their friend's couch or like, living tour to tour or like skate trip to skate trip. And it was like some money finally pushed into this like large umbrella subculture, which like I
right.
didn't quite understand then, but I can look back on now and be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, between that and stuff like I don't wanna get too far off track, but, like, the Digimon movie soundtrack also, like, just, like, stuff like that was so integral to me developing my own taste.
Yeah.
Just like that one in particular had just, like, this huge, like, ska and, like, punk and hardcore with, like, a
Right.
little sprinkling of, like, rap and fucking like that yeah, like, that's why I know the Boss Tones, and that's why I know Rancid, like, all these groups that I, like, would just, like, come to love and I don't know, like, it's just, like
Dude,
like
yeah. The
yeah,
soundtrack culture, like, you think about, like, how many people did that put shit onto, right? Because you have something kind of abstract, like a film. Okay, I'm excited about a film where something happens. And because of that film, I'm finding out about all these music artists that, like, on paper have nothing to do with this other entity, but now I'm finding out about all of it. And it might be this soundtrack that these songs, these artists would have never been, on a project together, but here they are. And if you care enough, like you find out about all this shit. And I think it probably, including myself, like piqued like so many people's curiosity.
yeah, yeah, and, like, it. Yeah, I just try not to take that for granted anymore because it's just really like it like they like have enriched my life, they enriched your life, and we're not the only ones. So
No,
it's just
no. You talk to a lot of people, and it is like, yeah, a movie soundtrack, or like even like a skate video. And going back to that, it's like that
yeah,
was an abstract soundtrack, right? That was a bunch of artists that wouldn't necessarily be played together. Now they are, and you're viewing it all in one, 20 to 45 minute little time slot. And so thus you're getting like introduced to so many different subcultures at once, all through like one vehicle versus like, going to the record store and spending like $100 on a bunch of different CDs.
right. So I mean, like going through all of this and finding yourself as not even well, I mean, like you're finding yourself as an artist and as like a consumer and a fan, a listener, whatever you want to call it. Um, when did you know music was going to become more than just a hobby for you? That you were actually going to like, yeah. When did it go from being a dream to you being like, I'm making music?
Honestly, like that was kind of always the plan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like from a young age, like school, all that shit, like I did all right in school, but I didn't like try very hard. And like anything I was learning was kind of like, okay, like I can apply this to like a lyric or a thing later on. Like I'll go to journalism and like read the newspaper because like I might learn something that might inform, this or that. It was kind of like it's weird thinking back on it now. Like yeah, it like wasn't like a question. I was like gonna pursue music. How, what, and why I didn't know. And as I got a little bit older and realized like what that would really mean, and frankly, like as the industry changed, and by change, like lost money and got further like usurped by like the powers that be, but then also like kicked a little back down to the independent artists. Like, could you figure out how to navigate it? But like always, man, I went to college. I was playing in a band. It was very, very important to my family that I go to college. So I was like, all right, like I don't really like know what else to do right now. All my friends are doing that. And I was like, maybe I'll study like psychology or something. Like there was maybe like a few months there. I was like, oh, maybe I'll like get a job. But I was playing in a band and I started like doing GDP, and that was kind of like all right, like I gotta make some music now. Like either I make some music or I gotta like figure out how to like join the real world and like provide for myself. So freshman year of college, I started like really banging the drum on GDP stuff while also playing like other music. And sophomore year, I was living with this hippie kid who sold a lot of drugs. And I took a bunch of acid one night. And I remember just like lying down in bed listening to music. And I was just sort of like, I don't have to do any of this shit. Like I can just like follow what it is I need to do. And like there might be some sacrifices along the way, but like why do I feel this pressure to like assimilate to this world that like as I get older I realize is just awful and corrupt anyway. So like the fuck I need all this for? Like I can just like do whatever I want. And like what am I scared of? Like my parents, my peers, like people judging me, like fuck them. Like I can do what I want with my life. And it was like the final little like blow. Something like I already kind of knew in the back of my mind, but it was just sort of this like insecurity of like, some of my friends were like doing wild shit and like out and about and, not following the trajectory that's been impressed upon us here in North America, but like others weren't. And I was just like, I don't have to fucking do that. Like I'm not going to. And I kind of always gravitated towards freer thinkers, right? Like in school, it was like the bad kids.
Yeah,
In life, it was artists and like just creative minded people. And so yeah, I didn't answer that question that well. Just kind of just waxing poetic about this weird life. I don't know.
no, I feel
But
you.
like kind of like always, like in the back of my mind, it was like, nah, like I'm gonna make music. And it wasn't until later in life that I was kind of like, is this worth it? Am I happy? Am I like just beating something over the head that's like not bringing me the fulfillment that like it once did or I like thought it would? Which was yeah, so it wasn't until like a little bit later in life that I was kind of like maybe I should think about some other stuff.
Right. So like right before that happens, like when you start releasing music as GDP, you're doing it at this time when, like you're putting out your first music right as what we've come to understand as the blog era starts to pop off. like right.
it was a little before that. It was a little before that.
Yeah.
I started releasing right as like there was like when I was growing up, there was like an indie hip hop boom. Your you know, co-flows and atmospheres
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
just all this like indie hip hop world was like a thing. By the time like me and some of my friends really were like at a point that we were going to start releasing music, it was there was way less of a demand for it. You know, there are always some stalwart dudes around, but there was just way less of an indie hip hop demand. And shortly, maybe a few years later, so began the blog era.
Yeah.
But indie hip hop like didn't look the same. Right.
Right.
It was like this different sensibility. Some of it was really cool, but it was a little more like it was not like a shtick because like no one like had enough money to like have a shtick, but it was a little more like a clout thing or like a presence thing than it was like a musical capabilities. That's painting in really wide strokes. There were some great people that came up during the blog era, like of course, but it was just sort of like a thing. People were getting popular not based on like musical merit, shall we say.
Right.
Some people weren't. And that was yeah, I don't know. It was just like a little confusing, right? Because I was still just sort of like, nah, like I grew up like they were just like spitters, you know what I mean? Like, what about like people outside the spot, like ripping, and then like those the best ones would like get discovered and like maybe have careers like that? Like, wasn't really like it wasn't necessarily the best of the best. While there were still some great artists that like made their way through, it was a little more about like looking cool, catchy hook, affiliated with cool people, like just a little more of almost like an underground gimmick or something, or an underground like swagger. Gimmick's not the right word, but people started getting popular for different reasons,
Right.
you know, which I think we saw also now looking back on it, that was in tandem with the rise of social media, which is now like we take for granted. Like people can just get popular like for fucking whatever. But it's like
Yeah.
when I was growing up, it seemed like you had to have like a really like defined, carved out like skill set.
Right. So like this is so like would you say that I mean like I'm thinking about like the succumb era for you, you know, like around like '08 ish.
Yeah, I dropped my first record, bro. I dropped my first record in 2007. Just
Yeah.
so crazy to think about. I think I was like 19 or something.
Yeah. Wow. Damn. Yeah, see I haven't been able
It's
to
not
listen
online,
that
dude.
far back.
I've
Yeah.
like made some of that shit disappear. I'm just like I hate it. Some kids ask for it. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
thrilled you care, but I'm like I just like don't need people hearing that. It's around. You can find it, but I'm just like
Mhm.
just stick around. Like I got some more music coming out. It's like I don't need that to be the music that like defines me. And it's cool. It meant something to people, but I'm like respectfully, like I don't really care.
Right. Well, I mean like considering that you feel that way, like talk to me a bit about looking back on like realistic expectations and useless eaters and kind of like this like this just like this era where you know you said earlier that you were just like young and angry on an album like useless
Yeah,
eaters,
yeah,
which like is obviously like there's you know like in a lot of respects it sounds like it came from the early 2010s. And I
yeah,
mean that in like I mean that in a great way. You know, like it really does take me back to like a very specific era of like we were talking about before, going through media fire links and fucking around on Two Dope Boys
yeah, yeah.
and
Same.
bullshit and you're like very much like the Tumblr era and you know it's like and you're like of course like things were different. There's like things that are said and expressed on that album where I was listening and I was like, damn, this was really the early 2010s, huh?
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah,
like it is what it is, you know.
things I wouldn't say now, and I think you know some of that was a little bit like just a fuck you to my future self. It's like, haha, you want to fucking live to old age? Like you're gonna have to deal with this shit. Like fuck grown ups. Like I think back on that, I'm like, yeah, like
Uh,
it was kind of just like a fuck you to future me. Here I am now, and just like
wow.
just feeling like I didn't really know what my place in the world was, and like frankly didn't really like care. My art and my friend's art was like really important to me, but it was also this like, inherent nihilism that it's like I want to do this, and at the end of the day, like who am I even like trying to please, or like what's it even all for? Like what's my best case scenario, right? Like the radio shows some love, or like MTV shows some love, or like some headphone company shows some love. I'm like, well, fuck these people, and like this, like the hypocrisy of it all just like led to just like some bitter moments, and then maybe it's
Yeah.
something I'm still kind of working through, right? It's like when someone's posting about the events of the world using a platform owned by the people that are indeed propagating said events, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
like,
It's just like,
what
what
are
do
you
we
gonna do?
do? You know,
What are
rock
you
in a
gonna
hard
do? Yeah.
place.
You try to do something, right? You try to do something
Yeah.
positive. I could answer that question, but it's like for looking back on that stuff now, I've said it a few times now because yeah, like I'm back outside and like having to kind of like speak to that. It just feels like my mom showing my girlfriend like embarrassing baby photos. It's like, here's Matthew
Yeah.
taking a bath. And I'm just like, ah, mom. But then kids are like,
Yeah.
no, like, it's cool that people, it meant something to people. And like, for what it's
Yeah.
worth, it's like, yo, I like tried fucking hard and I like wanted to say something and I tried my best at the time. And like what comes from the heart goes to the heart, and it's like I look back,
Sure.
frankly, as I look back on people that are like were maybe way more popular than me and my friends at that time. It's like in 2020 whatever, like more people are listening to my shit, and it's like it's because maybe I was like trying to say something and I was scratching for something, and like
Yeah.
it resonated with people, and like that's awesome. For me, it's like I think I have better music in me, and I look back at that music that I'm like, I think it's like showing signs of that.
Yeah.
If I wasn't me and I listened to those records, I'd be like, okay, like there's something unique about this person that I think they haven't like fully evolved into yet. And if they stick with it, like they might finna like make some really interesting music. And I'm gonna try and show and prove that now. Like for a while, like that wasn't necessarily like a priority for me. It felt good to kind of step away and just fell into other styles of music, and like fell into some photo film work that like really like
Right.
felt good to express myself in other ways. I felt a little like tied to like this GDP thing. And I'm getting older, and I'm just like I'm more than just this fucking rap guy, right? And now I
Yeah.
feel like I'm like having to be that when it's like not even really like getting me where I want to go in this life. But
Right.
I think it's like something a little more than a birth scream when I think back on that stuff. A couple of those songs I still stand by. A lot of them, like, come on, bro. Like, if someone played me that shit now, I'd be like, yeah, this sucks. Like, take it off. But then I meet kids that are like, yo, like, I've been listening to that shit for like 12 years. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, you want me to make you a playlist? I'm like, I could put you onto some better music than that if you want.
That's
But like,
hilarious.
I appreciate people still caring.
Yeah, cause like I mean, once again, like I was re-listening to Useless Eaters in the gym yesterday, and
Say
like,
it. Thank you.
yeah, nah, no doubt. Like to me, like of course I've been listening to Endocrine a ton, and I think I see so much of what you and Reef are doing on that project and then of course like I was at y'all show, and of course like All My Friends Are on Meds comes on, and the crowd lost its fucking mind,
Yeah.
like and then like going back and re-listening to that song, and like Someday When Things Are Good is like that's a song to be proud of, like
Yeah, I did my thing on that.
that song fucking rips, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean that worked out. And frankly, like that beat, like, like cart before the horse, horse before the cart. It's like that. What if I made that song if someone didn't send me that beat? Das
Mm,
4GW, The Empty Cup. I played that song live once in Perth, Australia, because the guy who made the beats from Perth, and the guy who plays sax on it is from Perth. So I played a show. That song got performed live once, like so long
wow.
ago. But yeah, a couple moments, especially throughout that record, that I'm like, all right, I did my thing. But it's like kind of like shaving away at it, that I think at this point in my life, my pen's a lot sharper and I can kind of take all these elements and just make a better meal. Um,
Right.
Endocrine being a kind of little, an hors d'oeuvre, if you will.
Absolutely. And like before we get to Endocrine, you know, like I said, and you've implied a bunch. I'm like outside of a handful of single releases, like or like the GDP project kind of went quiet for a decade, you know, and like you've kind of alluded to things that have been happening, but just like what happened between 2030, what happened from the time that Holla came out and now,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. It's funny, man. It's like it feels like a really long time, and it also feels like a day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
getting older is crazy. The old people are right. Thinking back on it, what happened? COVID happened, which was definitely
yeah,
very annoying. But I fell into like photo film world, which is just like a little like pick me up thing. Like when I was home from tours and this and that, I would like help someone who had a production company, and then it was the kind of like, oh, like maybe I can do this sort of thing of it. So just kind of like started freelancing more photo stuff and like really like enjoying that. Was enjoying like not being the center of attention, frankly, like a
yeah,
more behind the scenes, but still like, I don't know, could control the situation, right? Like I could show what I wanted to show, but it was based on like all these other factors. So like, yeah, really just like fell in love with shooting and working on producing stuff, moved to LA, um, co-founded a global health nonprofit with a doctor friend, so did a lot of traveling on like global health missions, which was sick, which I haven't been doing so much lately, but like would again, it's kind of a big commitment and like frankly, like I live in New York and like it's a hard racket, but you know, that was like an incredible few years there. Just going like all over the place and yeah, documenting like doctors going to places that needed help and providing said help, right? Surgeries, health clinics, doctor's visits, ultrasounds, just like traveling the world a bit, which was really cool. But yeah, just really like and writing. I started a side project called Orange Crystal, started producing
uh-huh.
more,
Shout
making
out.
some more noise, was playing drums in a band called Ankle Monitor with some friends. Just kind of living life and like, you know, I never like I feel like, you know, I'm a bit older now, but like I never like stopped living a creative life. So for me to like make hip hop music again, like and no diss to anyone, but like I didn't like go and get a job. I didn't like go and like become this responsible member of society. Like
Yeah, of
I've
course.
been jugging ever since, just like in different creative avenues. So like I don't know. I still not intentionally. It's just kind of like how my life is who I am. I guess it's like
Of course, yeah.
there's a real like Peter Pan quality to like the path I've chosen, and like thus can like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't feel like I'm like some old head trying to like make records or something. You
Right,
know, it's
yeah,
like I feel
definitely
like
not.
I'm like just sharper. You know, older, wiser, experienced so much more in life, and it's like you know to write, you must live, right? And like I lived a lot in that 10 years and experienced a lot of things and had some like incredible and incredibly unique experiences that I now feel like hip hop kind of always been like my shit and like a medium for me to like express myself again in it.
Yeah.
And fortunately in time for like dude so many cool artists to be coming out, which you know brings it to you know you mentioned Backwoods, talk about Fatboi Sharif, like seeing all these dudes like stay the course or come up in the past few years, it's been like super super inspiring, super cool to see, and then
Yeah, man.
realizing like listeners are just like so much more informed and like know what's up and so down to take the risk on just weirder music on more abstract concepts. It's like you know, people like you um kind of holding the stethoscope to it. Like I'd have probably done it regardless, but frankly like it doesn't hurt. Like
Yeah.
it's inspiring, you know, and seeing some dudes who like, you know, I remember seeing playing to fucking very empty rooms, playing to very crowded rooms now. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
so cool to see people stay the course.
Right,
Um
like yeah, totally. Sorry, I didn't wanna cut you off if you had
no,
anything
okay.
else.
You cut me off anytime, by the way. Feel free to interrupt. I start like rambling.
I mean, just like like I wanna get into the mission stuff a tiny bit before we move on
Mhm.
to the music, but just like speaking to your point about playing these rooms, like I can't I like for people, I mean, like I'm sure a lot of people listening weren't at the show. But like I'm like you and Sharif played your album release show at the Meat Locker in Montclair. I grew up in Montclair. I went to the fucking Y across the street and practically learned how to swim. I used to
Okay.
work out that that's the crib. Like that's home.
Mm-hmm.
So it was important for me to be there, and I brought Desiree. Desiree loved your set. I think I told you that already. Like Des was like,
Thank you for coming on, man. Some Montclair royalty in the building.
truly, yeah, nah, like between like y'all and Beat Lampers, like that, and yeah, like Beat Lampers, like those are my boys. I went to school with D-Dan and Mark, like those are like I've known them forever. So like it just for it to be that, and of course like the hardcore groups that were there, it was just a beautiful vibe. But like the room, like especially when you and Reef went on stage, like the Meat Locker was packed. It was full of people, and it's one of those spots where you could have 200 people in there, and it feels like eight or 1,000. You know,
Yeah,
like you
because I got
feel
that
like you're
back room,
just
right? If people are like spread out, you
yeah.
can fit a lot of people in there. If they're not, like it gets thick really quick.
Yeah. And like just once again, like seeing you go through a lot of the older songs and seeing the crowd light up and people just like reciting lyrics, and like it was like everybody in there was activated, and it was like a decent amount of like it was like younger people, like people our age, people a bit older than us. Like it was a really decent mix of people. Like being in the crowd and watching it happen was really really dope. And then of course for Reef being like a little newer and him still kind of getting his bear or not really getting his bearings. He's got his bearings. Like y'all just played to a sold out fucking clipping crowd last week, which like
Yeah, Sharif's local,
congratulations on
man. Yeah,
that too.
no, thank you, man. Thank you. Sharif is he's so on it. Like getting to know him, I'm just so impressed by his organization and work ethic, and still like love for the culture.
Yeah, man.
He loves this shit.
Yeah, he loves it more than most people do, and
Yeah,
it's like
it was really cool. It was getting to know him. Like that really did inspire me like caring again.
right.
Getting a little jaded, and maybe some of the people I was working with also like I don't know. It just like I don't. It started feeling like a job or an
Yeah, like work. Yeah.
expectation, and like let's say a job that like wasn't like paying particularly well. And it's like it's not like I was turning away bags of cash when I like took a little break. It was just sort of like this is it's not feeling true to like how I want to conduct myself.
Yeah. And like I want and yeah, like I want to dig into like the nonprofit and the mission stuff you because like that's so fascinating to me, like not and of course I also wanted to like put a little asterisk and say like like I didn't assume that you just like fell in a hole and died for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like it was like it's just like always interesting when because like like it's not like you've really talked about it a ton, and like considering how like considering like what you'd built, and then you just like went off and lived life for 10 years, and like this is just for me personally as
Yeah,
somebody who
yeah.
just wasn't aware, but like walk me through what was going on there a little bit, and like what and well like walk me through that, and then like kind of what you took away from it, because I'm always interested how that stuff affects the music whenever you decide to come back to it, you know.
I mean, at the time, it had felt like I had like painted myself into a corner. Like I was like reliant and beholden to this thing that like, I'm living in New York and like doing shows and doing things, some of them good, some of them not so good, and just feeling this pressure to like, yo, I gotta like say yes to things that I don't really want to because like, the rent becomes due. And like this shit is whack. And I am GDP to all these people that like it's just weird. It was feeling like I was feeling like a pro wrestler or something. And it's
Mm,
just like I kind of remember like the day I was kind of like maybe I could just like not do this. Like it was like this cloud lifted. Like it was just like, oh yeah, like I just like won't have to worry about this, and I can just like work on some other shit. And like I just felt this like relief. I was like, okay, this is cool. Maybe I'll make a record a year from now. Maybe I'll never make a record again. Again, like frankly, it's interesting. Like to someone that was like interested in my music, it's like, where'd he go? But for me, it was like, inside the club, it was like, who the fuck really cares? Like a few people, and like you said, like the other week, yeah, some people coming out, like that's amazing, right? Like that's such a blessing. I never like had no real help. This is like DIY as fuck. If you seen a GDP show, like I booked that show. Like
Right.
you heard it
Yeah.
recording. I never had no manager. I never had no help. Music videos, like all that
Yeah.
shit. Like let
You were running around all
that
night
show
like
in
manning the
particular,
boards,
I
like
don't miss
yeah.
this at all. It wasn't always
You know.
that hands on. You know, a little bit later down
Right.
the line, like I had some help here and there, but it was just like it was all fell on me to the point that I was like, this just feels disingenuous, right? And if it's not from the heart, like fuck it. It's not like there's all these other things I'm turning away from. Like I'll just like, I've kind of was falling in love with photo and started pursuing that. And it just, a few emails, a few messages, but like I didn't really know if people were gonna care or not. I didn't really know if like, 5 or 10 years from now anyone would give like a single shit about records that like frankly like people might like more or care more about now than they did at the time.
Mm,
And that's not by any sort of like promotional rendering or like planning. It's just like I don't know, it's a lottery ticket of sorts. And like baby lottery ticket. You mean like a couple bucks off a scratch off, but like it just is. Um yeah, I don't know. It just felt good to not worry about it for a while.
right.
And then just work on other music with friends. The thing about hip hop, it's like it can be solitary or it can be collaborative. It sort of became solitary, right? I was living in New York. I had a studio not far away, but I just like found myself like alone in a room a lot, like quite literally. Just like, all right,
Mm,
try to write a song, try to work on something. I was kind of running a label too at the time, which that's like a whole other story, but like was just so invested in this thing that was not enhancing my life. And like there wasn't much money on the line. So I'm like, if I'm burning the candle at both ends for no reason, like I need to just like find another way to like express myself. And like, fortunately did. Like the plan was to always live a creative life. And like if it wasn't as like an MC for a while, it's like whatever.
yeah. So like,
Did I answer
I
that?
mean, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. No, you answered it well. I think you kind of got at like you got at what pushed you out and going to just kind of do your thing out in the world, whatever that was. And now, I mean, like you once again, you already kind of alluded to it in a sense, but what brought you back to GDP?
I should mention, and I'll get into detail if you want, but I can just kind of be like, it came to a point also, like in those days, like there was a lot of just like hectic shit going on amongst,
Mm-hmm.
inner turmoil and some of my peers, like just drugs and issues and legalities and just like all these things that I kind of maybe for better or for worse was like attributing to like GDP. And it was just sort of like, while I have love and respect for so many people I was running with in those days, and not even like on like day to day levels, on more like, you know, loose. It was just like, I don't know, like it was just like something I kind of wanted to get away from a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll leave it there for now. What made me want to get back? It wasn't like a conscious decision, honestly. Like in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, maybe someday, whatever. Like I would, but like if I am gonna come back, like it's gonna be like I know how I am, and it's like I'm not just gonna like write a record in a weekend and put it out. Like it's gonna be thoughtful and like it's gotta be good, right? Like I've set this kind of, at least for myself, I feel like I've set this like standard of like thoughtful lyricism, thoughtful artistry that like it's got to be better. So I'm going to come back. Like I have to at least feel like I'm, setting the benchmark a little bit higher for myself. So it takes a minute sometimes. So it's kind of just producing, fucking around, and really like, I heard Sharif's music and I was like, oh, this dude's like really dope. I heard Roper's production. I've been always like keeping my ear to the street, and it's like there's people that come up and you start hearing about, and I'm like, it's cool. Like, it's fine. So many people that start getting hyped for a second. I'm like, yeah, like, all right, this is all right. But someone that I'm like, I want to listen to this. I would listen to this on my own if I was 15. Now, Gandhi Loves Children, like, was that to me. I was like, oh, no, this is like an exceptional, like, artist here, right?
Yeah,
Like, I heard it.
truly.
I had met Sharif like a few times. He was from Jersey, and I didn't know this, but like, he was pretty in tune with like me and my friends' music from back in the day. And every person ever, because Sharif is like a fucking hip hop like almanac. He impresses me like all the time. Side note,
Yeah.
he's on his shit. So I was doing the Orange Crystal thing, and I was like, yo, I just want to like make you a beat. Um, I had a studio space in Jersey City that my band used at the time. And I was like, yo, come through. Like I like picked him up at the train. We just like shot the breeze. We just like got along really well and just ended up like talking about like neat shit. I remember we talked about nonfiction a lot. The rap group, which is like my shit.
Yeah.
He was on. I was like,
Shout
oh,
out.
yeah, growing up, and that was like, my top of the pops. He recorded his verse, which I should say, and I've at this point seen him in the studio with a lot of other people that like Sharif is like, you never know what you're gonna get. You know it's gonna be dope, but like you really can't set your watch to like what you're gonna do, like when you put him back there, like send him something. And it's cool, it's exciting. He knows who he is, but he's so fluid and versatile with it that it's like it's exciting every time. So we recorded a verse and he was just like, you're gonna get on it too, right? And I was like, no, like that's your beat, like whatever. I'm the producer. And he's like, nah, bro, like as he does. And I was like, all right, like dust off the boots kind of shit. And then maybe like that, I made him another beat or like played him something. And he was like, oh, yo, that was dope. 'Cause we hit it off that day. So like, we kind of just like made friends. And then made him another beat that I got on. And then I was like, oh, that was fun writing that last verse and just started like writing a little bit. And then yeah, kind of. I like
Well,
forget now. I just like started like making some beats, and I was like, oh, like maybe I'll get on it too. I'll get on it too, and then we probably got like two or three songs in the can. I was like, dude, what if we like did a project? Like, this is cool.
so when was this? How recently?
A minute ago now, like that project took a second to make, just because like I wasn't really fussed. Sharif's always releasing music by now, probably like 2.5 years ago,
Okay.
winter
Okay.
2023 or late 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cool.
what really happened is I was on my way to Zimbabwe for a medical mission, and Sharif got a show offer in Boston. It was like recommended me for it, and I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like I got like a little following out there, and there's a label I work with out there, Bond Run for Cover. Shout out Run for Cover. Um,
Yep. Shout out Run for Cover.
Run for Cover Records, and she was like, yo, you should play the show, and I was like, cool. Of course, it ended up being like before I had to fly across the world. So I fucking stayed up all night, played the show. It was like I flew out of JFK, dude. It was like a whole thing, but it, well worth it. And the show went well. A bunch of kids came out, and then like it was just cool. I don't think Sharif and I played any music together, but at that point we had a couple songs together. I forget if we had made the decision to do like a project together before then or not, but probably right around
Mm-hmm.
then. And then Jeff from Run for Cover was like, dude, like that was sick. Like you should just make a record. My man Pistol came out. It's like an old collaborator, and like it was just like
Shout out. Yeah.
a great time. And it's just sort of like, yeah, fuck it. Like feels good. It makes sense, right? Like it's gotta feel smooth, right? It's like never trying to like force it or do something for like there was no real reason, right? Like the GDP was never like a particularly like profitable endeavor. So it was like it's because I wanted to, because I felt like I had something to say. And it was just like, all right, I feel like I have something to say now.
Right. And like, when did I mean, like, y'all already had those couple songs, and you did this show. When did when did Endocrine start coming together, like in earnest, or like not even when, but just like talk about fleshing the rest of that project out and being like, this is us.
Like shortly thereafter, you know what I mean? Sharif is always like juggling. That dude's probably sitting on like 8 new records right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I started making a few more beats. Trying to remember now. Yeah, so like the following like probably like 6 months or something, we kind of made the record. And then honestly, the record was done for like a while before it came out, just because like he had releases lined up, getting the vinyl made, finalizing, mixing and mastering, all the shit that comes along. And I'm like, oh yeah, like forgot about all this stuff. Like it always, and then no album comes out quickly. Um, so the record was done for like, oh yeah, 6 or 8 months probably before it like actually came out. So yeah, so from
Mm-hmm.
that show, it was like January 2024. Record was probably done by summer,
Cool.
and that's with like us not like working on it constantly. It was just kind of like went along with the flow, when I would have an idea or I feel inspired, like send a beat. Um, Sharif always very quick with it. always come through ready to go. Honestly, as me, it took a little bit longer because I'm like, oh, I haven't dropped in a while. Like, let me just make sure. Like, and Sharif's good. You know, he's natural. He's a natural. Just making sure everything was like where I wanted to be, and then production wise, making sure that was all good and like felt cool about it. And yeah, I've since like signed another record deal, which like I finished a full length that I've self produced that needs to go to mixing really soon. But I won't say too much on that yet. But you know, more music to come and like a couple little like random EPs and releases until then. Like I'm feeling cool. And it's like quite frankly, dude, like I just want to end whatever however long this goes on for. Like I just want to put out some music that like I'm really proud of and like
Right.
feel good about. 10 years from now I can look back and be like, nah, like Endocrine's like it's cool. It's an interesting record. And like I stand by it in a way that like I think back at some of my older records and I'm like, there's some moments, you know, again, like I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
showing
yeah.
some promise, but like I never exactly brought it to fruition. And I'm like, all right, let me bring this to fruition and like have some fun right here and go on a run and like make some music with my friends. Producing is like really like makes it more of like a, I don't know, personal experience,
I'm
more of an
sure,
endeavor
yeah.
now. You know, it brings more meaning to it versus like writing to someone else's shit. Like it's just I don't know, it just helps me justify the whole process a lot more, you know,
Right.
sitting in the
It's
room.
you know, it's yours, you know?
Totally.
And yeah, like if and yeah, just to clarify, you produced all of Endocrine.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Cool. Like yeah, like and just like I love you know, like I love how sludgy like this project feels so sludgy
Yeah,
to
for sure.
me.
I
Like
sample a lot of punk bands. I sampled like a lot of shit that like maybe
sounds about right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean like even just like if like Tupac's autopsy photo, I think is like probably the biggest track on here, and like just like that song, it really does sound like it was like I don't know where all the samples came from, but I could tell in my head like yeah, this is a lot of punk and maybe even a little bit of hardcore in here. Like it just kind of has that like it has that vibe and like stuff like that and Luchador Mask, which I know y'all shot the video for at the Montclair show
Mhm.
and
We have a
Renaissance.
Deerwitch video coming out next week.
Which one?
Deerwitch, the first song on the record.
Fire.
I
Yeah.
I shot and
Yeah.
edited literally when we hang up today. I'm gonna like do like last looks on Deerwitch and do a little teaser tomorrow. Drop the shit
Yep.
Monday. But you know, I've been so much
Dope.
producing it. I'm editing the videos. I'm overseeing. I'm shooting. It's just like this like hands
Right.
on like labor of love.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, that's one thing that's really intriguing about this era for you, especially hearing you like talk about like the beginning versus now. Like it kind of seems like correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of what came before was like you rapping.
Yeah,
And you know, now it's just like I'm rapping, I'm like you were producing at that point too, but like you're producing more and rapping over your own stuff more, and you're like involved with the videos, and like it's like you said, it's very hands on compared to what you know like GDP 1.0 was
totally.
on,
It's
and
it's
like
it's so much more
yeah,
personal, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool.
you know it's always gonna be more personal when it's like when it's you know like it's you rapping over your own stuff like co at the very least co-directing or at least being involved in the overseeing of video you know like it's like you're at a different level of investment when you're responsible for like 75% of it or 50% of it or
Totally. And
whatever
you know,
what yeah
that obviously makes things like more time consuming,
uh-huh for
shall
sure
we say?
yeah
And it's like, you know, let's be real. These records, and we're not like no one's retiring off Endocrine, but like,
right
you know, so you put the time aside, but like it's important. And like again, yeah, it's not just you know always Easter eggs in my lyrics. If I ever like sat someone down and broke down a song, it's like here's why I said this. But now it's like okay, here's why I put this sound there. Here's where this sample's from. You know, throughout Endocrine, even there's songs I recorded like some prayers outside of a mosque in Pakistan while I was out there doing a mission in the Swat Valley. That's on the
see
record, you know, and like all these little bits and bobs in my life. It's like, dude, like I'm gonna be dead one day. And like at least this music, it's like little Easter eggs and experiences like from whatever I did or didn't do. And that to me, like it just like bring such new life into the creative process for
yeah
GDP. And it's like, okay, yeah, like I remember why I love this shit. I remember why it's so special. And like, you know, it's trying to make something good.
that's what you meant earlier by like going out and living like see I like there's no way I would have known that if you didn't tell me.
Yeah, no one.
But like
You're the first person I've told. You know, I don't think Sharif even knows that. Maybe I
that's
told him at
dope.
some point.
Like that's so I mean, A, thank you. I'm honored. B, like that's just like that's dope as fuck, man. Like that's the type of like I'm really just sitting here marinating in, just you talking about these different eras and even like that's so ill to me. Like not even I mean like musically it sounds amazing, but like it just sounds more fulfilling and you sound more fulfilled. Like
Real? Yeah, no, I
you
mean it's a fact.
yeah.
Like with the age of or the wisdom of age, I suppose. Like
Mhm.
you figure out how to do that, right? You figure out what makes you more fulfilled. You find out how to weave
Yeah.
your personal experiences in a thoughtful or tasteful way into what you're doing for potential mass consumption. Like
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I can't even remember. Like I guess I wasn't really thinking about it before, or I was just thinking about it in a little more of like a particular way, a more streamlined way, where it's like now it's like no, like the possibilities are infinite, and thus like create the whole new plane of like I don't know possibilities and just interest. Interest in
Yeah.
putting that time in, sitting here and fucking banging my head again. It's not like the creative process. Like kind of sucks. Like it's great when you catch a fish, but like I'm sitting in a room by myself, like trying to do something that's going to be good. It's like what it boils down to, right? And like you talk
Yeah.
to any artist, it's like that's like kind of what it is. Um, so why do that? Why spend my valuable time here on earth doing that? It's like I remember now, or like I've yeah opened up
Yeah.
new pathways to why.
And like and like it's important for that to have happened in conjunction with you connecting with all these people in this bustling scene that we're all a part of now that's having like a like once again like y'all just played songs in front of like 1,000 people at a clipping show and you're like clipping is a group that's been keeping the shit moving for like a decade. Like I remember when Mid City and the self-titled came out and like seeing them play Afropunk to like 60 people.
Yeah,
And like now they're big enough that they're playing like the Grand Hall at elsewhere, like it's and just like
yeah, selling that motherfucker out quick.
right. And you're like even having a place like elsewhere like in Brooklyn
Yeah,
that exists that can be a hub. Like places like elsewhere and places like there's so many I could name that we've all spent so much time in, but I don't know, like just to kind of come back at this like really ripe moment for this particular strain of rap music. It's kismet. It's really dope to
yeah,
see you
man. It is.
to
It
see
really.
you
It's that's a great word for it. I love that. And dude, like literally, I used to live walking distance from where Elsewhere is now. When I was doing GDP stuff, I had a studio about a half mile walk from there. And I remember thinking, I'm like, yo, there's like nowhere to like play a good show. Like there were little pop-up spots, but I'm like, I'm in Bushwick, and that's when like the fucking whole world was finding their way to Bushwick, and it was right
word.
before it became
Yeah.
like a parody of itself, I would say. And it was just like like there's nowhere to see a good band. You still got to go to Williamsburg. You still got to go to Manhattan to see like a national act or whatever. And just as some sign of the time, some kismet. It's like now I don't live over there anymore, but there's a 800 cap room that you could see like some of the biggest acts at.
Yeah. And like and you like not even just see some of the biggest acts, but have it be this mix of people who are like at that level where they're in between playing like the bar scene and playing like Terminal 5 and shit, or
Totally
like baby places like Babies, or
right. That's
places like Elsewhere, like these
and
like little like these yeah, like these kind of like middle of the ground places, or like what I mean SOBs is still kind of that, but like I feel like the general shift is moved toward like Babies and Elsewhere is kind of being these like you play here and then you're up there.
Yeah,
So it's
hopefully, right? Like that's like the exciting
yeah,
spot. You know what I mean? People kind of got their
yeah,
shit together. They're swimming, and like, what'll it be, right? Like, are they gonna keep playing here? Or are they gonna like level up? And like,
right.
I think that's the most exciting time as a fan and like as an artist.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Just like like once again, or being from your specific neck of Jersey and watching you grow and hearing even more about how you've grown and how that's reflected on this project is like really cool for me. Is somebody who is somebody who knows exactly what you're talking about. So
Thank you, bro. I mean,
it's
dude,
double special.
the respect is mutual, man. It's so cool. As you're young and music is your world, or art, whatever, culture is your world. Like, all right, how do I take that with me? How do I find a pathway to like really make this work in a way that's like true to how I feel about this shit? And it's like inspiring to see people like you and a Sharif or like whoever like finding ways to do it. Finding thoughtful ways to like just make it work for themselves, and frankly, like go against the grain. Be
Yeah,
the odds, beat the odds.
yeah, something like that. Like definitely a one day at a time type thing. And yeah, I just like I can't emphasize enough how much the Strangers crew means to me. 89 and Kohai and
Yeah, hell
Boog
yeah,
and Roper and Reef. Yeah, like they're all just like
dude.
they
89's
yeah,
record
no, like
is so good.
it's the new one.
The new one, yeah,
I haven't I
it's
haven't
not
heard the
out
new
yet,
one yet.
dude. It's so good. So I gave him a ride to the clipping show in Philly. Dude, at the Ukrainian club, Ukrainian American club, it was sick. It was
Yeah,
like a much more like it was like a punk show, like a large punk show, much more
that's
modest
tough.
venue than elsewhere. It was sick. Reminded me of
That's
like the
tough.
Stelton Church in Philly. Have you ever been there? Legendary,
No,
like
I never have.
hardcore venue. And yeah, he replayed me that record on the way down, and I was like, dude, you got something like so unique in this project.
Yeah, because like I loved night lives. I still play night lives pretty often.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm just yeah, like once again, like he's somebody else who's been plugging away for a decade and like, just and yeah, like Kohai's got crazy shit. Like I'm just happy for all of them. They they
yeah,
they
man.
they
Book
deserve
too.
every look they get.
Book is an
Yeah.
entertainer, man. He's so
He's a
sick.
riot.
Get that man a
He's a
microphone. Yeah, he rules.
yeah, I love listening to their show. I think they're all yeah, like those are my boys. They're
Hilarious
great.
chemistry between all of them too.
Yeah.
It's like a band where everyone like fills their purpose. You know what I mean? There's a singer, there's a bass player, there's a guitar player, there's a drummer.
Yeah.
Kind of relationship.
Word.
Dude, I've been like trying to drink more water. Can I go take a pee break? It's a good time to shout out your sponsors.
Yeah, no, like yeah, no, you go do your thing, and I'm just gonna ask you one more question, and then we're done.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, dude, we could bullshit more. I was just gonna use the restroom quickly, but I'm chilling.
No, I feel you. I mean, no, go to the bathroom, do your thing, and then and then yeah, like I said, last
Yeah,
question,
I'm
and
not in
then
a
we
rush.
can
I'm
wrap it up.
chilling. I'm gonna have to be anywhere today.
Cool. Okay.
The best night of sleep of your life? Try the On the Real pillow and comforter set. Are you tired of underwear that gives you wedgies? Treat your bits to the comfort and ease of the On the Real boxer shorts.
Yo, I was just in the bathroom, like just listening to that. It was funny as hell.
Just working on different projects and means of self-expression, and love to shameless plug right here that I've been hard at work on a documentary about the life and times of Raheem Tame One Brown, with a couple buddies of mine. That's been an incredible process. I would want to say slow. It's been steady, but ever evolving, and just just from making music with him and collaborating and playing shows with him and stuff like that to like being on this side of things. It's just you just don't know what life's gonna have in store.
So how did that start? Like, are you like directing it? Like, what's the deal?
I am. Yeah, I'm directing it. I'm co-directing it with my friend and collaborator Chris Walter, and then David Dowd of Division East Skate Shop Enterprises, the executive producer. So we're kind of the three amigos on this. Essentially, Dave re-released a Tame record he had released on vinyl. So in 2006, Division East Records put out The Grudge, which was engineered, partly produced, and overseen by Shape One, music extraordinaire, with the help of Dave and Division East. Came out on CD then, and then since Tame's passing, I know Dave's been in touch with Tame's mom, Darlene, a bunch. And long story short, it was kind of like, should see a re-release. It hasn't been online. It hasn't been in distribution for a long time. And like, let's just give it like a proper send off. It got remastered. Tame's lifelong best friend, Malik, aka DJ Porno, did all of the new cover artwork for it. It looks fantastic. Sounds fucking great. Did the record. It was well received. Fat Beats took a bunch of copies, so on. And then I think Dave and Darlene just kind of kept in touch and like started ping ponging the idea. I think first Darlene was like, I want to make a book about Tame's life. And Dave was like, that would be cool, but really like a film might really do justice to like his story as well, right? Because then it's just
Yeah.
who people don't read, unfortunately. And it's just like, give someone a book to read versus a film to watch. It's like they'll probably prefer the film.
Mm-hmm. Don't I
And
know
he
it?
kind of reached out to me, and I was like, yo, I would love to be a part of it. It's definitely going to be an undertaking. He reached out to his cousin Chris, who's also a director, a bit more on the commercial side of things, but we've kind of got this good, like, yin and yang dynamic going on. And yeah, it kind of just started rolling down the hill, man. Calling in favors. Chris had a lot of really great contacts through his time in the commercial field, which I mean, he still works in, but we were able to just kind of start hobbling it together, start doing some good looking interviews, shine the bat signal for help with B-roll archival. Anyone listen to this has some Tame One artifacts, footage, photos, whatever they would love to send, please do. Tame1film@gmail.com, at Tame1film on socials. And yeah, we just kind of all reached into our pockets and did a bunch of interviews. Redman was kind enough to grace us with one, so that obviously really like helped kind of elevate this thing to other peers and other collaborators. We released
Fire.
a little 90-second teaser, started a GoFundMe, raised about 10 grand, which is further to help us get down this road here, and been courting a few investors, potential people involved, and taking some meetings and just really trying to make it happen. The Newark Film Festival showed our teaser this year, which was great. We've got a couple other film festivals reaching out. And we're kind of like, okay, like the film's not done yet. Like we still got a lot more people to talk to, or some more people to talk to, and get through the edit. But it's been awesome, and frankly, I'm honored to be a part of it. High school
Yeah.
me like can't fucking believe that. Yeah, I have my hands in helping tell the story of Tame One's very, very interesting life.
Yeah. What yeah, like what an honor to be involved and to like be co-directing and really having your hand, and like that's so dope. I can't wait to see it.
It's a trip, man. Have you seen the teaser? I'll
Yeah.
send it to you when we're done.
Nah, please. I haven't seen it. No.
It's crazy. Yeah, I've thought about it a few times. Like I'll be, like lugging. We were fortunate to get some really good locations. We've just been calling in favors, and I'm just like think
Mhm.
about it. Sometimes I'm like, what would Tame think if he could see me right now? Like lugging this fucking case of stands onto the service elevator at the Newark Museum. Like he'd probably just like be making fun of me. He'd probably be laughing and like being like, "The fuck are you doing? Like, why are you
Wow.
worrying about this?" Like
It's all for you, bro.
for
It's
you,
all for
bro. Yeah.
you.
But dude, certainly just be like cracking jokes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm proud to be a part of it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm proud of you. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Stay tuned. Under the same name, it's called. Kind of like a little lyric from Wrong Side of the Tracks, and also a little
Mhm.
homage to like, that dude was like on MTV and like still actively bombing. Like again, back to where we're from. Like, I was a little young, but some of my older heads are like, yeah, dude, like we were seeing his music videos on MTV and like active tame tags like on 280, like on train lines in the city, and it's just
Mm.
like ballsy guy. true outlaw.
Everything. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I'm, like as somebody who loves I love a good rap documentary, especially on somebody who is important and really tapped in and connected, but undersung. And he's somebody who, yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah. I'm gonna hold
he's
that
a
one close to the heart.
it's an underdog story if there ever were
Yeah,
one. And we've been talking a bit. I don't want to give away too much, but talking to some relevant parties about potential like soundtrack opportunities. And dude was prolific. There's a lot of Tame tracks and verses and things in the universe that maybe deserve a proper home. So we'll see. But I think there's a lot of Tame fans to be had, and then hopefully just a really cool film for fans of hip hop and graffiti. Maybe even if you weren't like grew up listening to the artifacts, it's like I think the story
right.
is generational enough. We shall see.
We love that. Damn. I feel like this conversation could go on for like another 3 hours.
Yeah, we'll
But
be back.
yeah. Now we're gonna have to do a take two at some point.
Try the
But
Unreal Boxers. We'll be back to you about them. Good night, sleep.
Unreal Boxers is crazy. But son, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Damn. Um, I've thought about more of my life in terms of a book,
Okay.
and there's like what's fucked up is like some of the most exciting stories. I'm like, is that something I really want to put out there? And there's other people involved, and I'm like, is that something I really want to put out there? If my life was a movie, it would be about someone that rough exterior, good heart, but at the end of the day is a loose motherfucker just trying to navigate the world and have adventures and largely succeeding in doing so and seeing some of the beauty and the horror that this world has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like maybe some vignettes or something. It would be like definitely a graph of like good, bad, exciting, scary. Um, I'm like probably approaching like approximately like the halfway point in life or whatever. And some things I would change, but I'm good. Like I'm pretty like okay with all of it. Like the harsher times got me to the brighter ones. So hopefully that's what the film would reflect, despite some real hectic shit along the way. I don't love when films resolve often, but maybe my film would have like a decent little resolve, like happy-ish ending.
What 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 would this vignette of your life be about?
It would just be like 8 Mile.
Cool.
I'm just kidding.
Excuse me.
His real name's Clarence.
Man.
Nah, this like, but like sort of like, yeah, just hmm, two long lost lovers. They don't have to be necessarily like literal. Just someone coming back to like old ways with like renewed sensibilities and vision, right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
an old recipe with better ingredients of sorts, and just like coming back to something and like really being able to appreciate it because of the time away, be that music or art or just like whatever,
Nice.
a general outlook on life. What would yours be? People ever ask you
Damn.
stuff like this? Yeah, what would your life's film be like?
Um like I'm happy you brought up the vignette thing because I've always kind of thought that my life would be like on some vignette shit with like there'd be like heavy doses of magical realism in there. Like
Oh yeah.
it'd be like fucking son who had the invisible it'd be stuff like the guy who had the invisible car on Atlanta,
Yeah,
or
see, I
just
was about
like
to
these
say, I was like, do you watch Atlanta? I was like,
yeah, like it like like one day I know I'm gonna have a better answer, but I feel like my life would just kind of be like Atlanta. and just like a lot of traveling across tri-state lines, a lot of good food, a lot of smoothies, a lot of
It would have
smoothie
like a chef's
recipes.
table like element about it. There would be like a Bourdain quality to the film.
Maybe I'd say more like hmm there'd be like a Bourdain esque quality. Like it'd be somewhere between like Bourdain and Guy Fieri. I feel like,
Hell yeah.
like just
Hell
like
yeah.
the
You're just in
like
the same button up shirt.
not too like not too highbrow, not too wild, but just enough of both. I feel like that's kind of the middle section
Hell yeah.
where I exist, and just just like figuring it out a day at a time. My life wouldn't be a musical, but there'd be a lot of music in it,
Totally.
and there'd be there'd be a lot of Vienna fingers. You ever eat Vienna
Yeah,
fingers, like the
I know
Keebler
this snack well.
cookies?
You're a Vienna fingers guy, huh?
I love Vienna. I don't know why, son. Just like one day I mean, like I liked them when I was a kid, but now I'm just like, damn, like I love. I got like half a pack of them in the cabinet over there. Like
That's sick.
they're
I
great.
like that style.
You know.
I always wondered why Vienna fingers didn't go double stuff.
Yeah, me too.
They're like a classier operation. They're like, let the Oreos guys like pack their stuff full of cream. Like we're like we have one cream setting.
and
Yo,
now and yeah, now like yeah, like Oreo has like the most stuff now, where it's like
dude,
triple or like damn near quadruple stuff.
the
You know.
Oreos like when I be at this like at the store sometimes I'll see like Oreo has a new fucking flavor every like week or two. It seems like, and I'm
Yeah.
just like I imagine like a bunch of little children in suits, like at the meeting room, like, and now it'll be bubblegum flavored with birthday cake. And I'm like, who is making these
Yeah.
decisions? I'm like, did we need the fucking like, I don't know, peppermint patty Oreo, like peanut butter? It's just like it's not
Yeah.
you're fucking up the brand, dude. Like we
There's
talked
like yeah,
before about artists making 10 albums in a year. It's like we don't need this many records. Make one good album, one good new
I
Oreo flavor.
I knew it was overboard when they put out like Swedish fish flavored Oreos. I was like, maybe I'm not trying those.
Yeah. I'm like,
Like I don't need that.
who asked for this? You know, but that's the day and age, right? I feel like there's such a like the and there's an argument I think to be made that like it really like hip hop is the nucleus for like hyper collaboration culture or like hyper new product. It's just like everyone's got to do this shoe company and this fucking pizza company. Like we don't need a
Yeah.
colorway from you guys, but like it's happening. And I'm like, where did we really like? Where can I draw the cord back to the wall? It's like the possibilities of hip hop music.
Right. And the reaction to most of that stuff is always, sure, why not? I'll try it.
Yeah,
Because like people it's like it's just weird enough that sure, why not? You know?
cross
But like
branding, different fan bases. Like,
right. And it's weird because sometimes it works. Cause I remember Van Leeuwen's the fancy ice cream spot, they made like mac and cheese flavored ice cream. And I tried it and it was honestly kind of good.
yeah,
I'm
why
like
not?
mad at myself for enjoying it, and like people still rip me for it to this day, but like it's literally just vanilla ice cream mixed in with the fucking Kraft mac and cheese powder. It's
Like the
dope.
powder, right? It's
It's
interesting.
dope. I fuck with it.
You want to hedge your bets, right? Like the world's expensive,
Yeah.
so it's like okay, we take one thing that sells, two things that sell, make them fuck, and like maybe we have a business here. And
Yeah.
I mean, Supreme is I always kind of think like how masterfully they've collaborated with like 3M tape brands and like God knows who like they're making like cars and shit, and it's like okay, maybe not every company needs to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, sometimes it can just be tape, or it can just be like a hoodie
Yeah,
or a t-shirt or a
or
hat.
being a
Like it
fan.
doesn't. Yeah, or a Vienna finger, bro. Yeah, yeah, no, like I don't need I don't need the Supreme Keebler cookie.
Yeah.
Or the Supreme Oreos. Like Supreme Oreos are a thing. I don't need those.
Has that happened yet? There's like a
Oh, oh yeah, it happened.
That's so funny. Yeah, like
I
they
want
did
to say
like a
like
red
2 3
velvet
years.
cake Oreo or some fucking shit.
Like it's literally red Oreos with the Supreme logo instead of the Oreo logo, and yeah, like yeah, I'm gonna find them for him. I'm
Dude,
gonna find them. and
I
send you a
don't.
picture.
I don't have
They
any more.
exist.
Dude, please. Well, I would like to try one. Maybe someone listening is like, I've kept them in my freezer for 3 summers. I had the Supreme breathalyzer. My friend gave. Who the fuck needs this? But like, all right.
Jesus, man, I don't know, like how we like whatever people need to do to get this money in, fuck it.
When the brand
Damn,
just becomes working with other people. Like our
yeah,
brand is just like usurping like other people's brands and putting our sticker on it. It's like I guess it's an endless well, right? It's like a bottomless
yeah.
well of like potential money.
It's what it is. It's what it means to be a creative director.
Yeah,
Like
straight
it's
up,
it's, it's just like this nebulous title that goes to people who put in their 10,000 hours and can just kind of get paid to do bullshit.
dude.
Shout out.
I hate the idea of creative directors. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. I have friends that are doing it, and there's some great ones in the world, but it's kind of one of those terms that I'm just like
What does it mean?
everything and nothing. I'm a creative
Yeah.
director, art director. I'm like, well, if I'm not on a dating app, what does that mean?
Mm,
Or like, if I'm not at a
yeah.
bar, like, so you're a creative director, like you make like decks with like pictures.
Mm-hmm.
No,
What? Yeah. What do you
shout out
like?
all the
Make
creative
like
directors
yeah.
out there. We do need you guys. We need
Right.
y'all.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, let's be real, you know?
Yeah. Damn. This was so great. I wish I could keep going. I have a meeting I gotta take in like a
Oh, dude,
half
take your
hour and I
meeting,
gotta
man.
prep.
This was, oh, we talked
But
for a while, bro. Nice.
yeah, nah, almost 2.5 hours.
We're great.
But yeah, like thank you so much, man. This
My
was this
pleasure,
was this
bro.
was this was this was so dope. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.